And we are live, man. Hey, listen, this is one I've been, ever since I started my podcast, there were a couple of people that I always wanted to get on. And I still have a couple more people I want to get on. Dr. Bus was always one of them. Bulzarian was one of them. There's several people like that, but definitely this is one of the big ones, man. I've always been excited. I will tell you guys right now, I started my journey in self-help because of Erik. So Mystery's going to be coming on the show today. He's going to come on here in a little bit. He's in London. He's about 8 hours. How far? Yeah, he's about 8 hours ahead of us right now here in Nevada. So once he gets on, we're going to go ahead and put him on. Until then, we're going to go with questions. Before that, let me announce a couple things before we get started. Number one, if you guys are interested, if you, any of you are like, hey man, I'm kind of familiar with MOA, but I want to see how you guys throw parties. Myself, Anthony DeRico, Barry Bly, and several other of us in MOA are joining together for the Grammys party. It's a golden soiree. It's going to be March 9th in Los Angeles, California. It's going to be fucking awesome. If you guys want to come, let me know. You don't have to be a member of MOA to come to our events. This is not a charity event. It is a ticketed event that you can come to. You guys get tickets or tables. I personally am bringing 78 girls to this event. These are where I load up and try to get as many girls as I can. I try to do one event like this a month where I bring somewhere between 60 and 200 girls. And so this is my event for the month. We're going to do this. Babies in Toyland has been postponed, so we're not going to be doing that anytime soon. But if you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to come on March 9th, you guys are more than welcome to come join us. It's going to be in Mid-Wilshire. I forgot what the name is, but it's in a penthouse. It's in a secret penthouse where we're going to be doing that. And if you guys are interested in doing that, let me know. Several other things. On March 14th is going to be, we're going to have James Sexton is coming into Las Vegas next week. For you guys know, the divorce attorney. He's had some really incredible content recently. James is going to be coming hopefully on Access Vegas, but definitely we're going to do a podcast with myself, Rolo, and him. James is awesome. He called me the other day. He had some really great ideas. James loves this space, and he's really knowledgeable. I think he's kind of a secret weapon because of all the facts and figures that he has. Yesterday, I did a podcast, or I did a debate with Destiny, and it was a biologist. His name is Cody. I forgot his last name. And then also HOMAF. The four of us did a 2-on-2 debate on the efficacies of evolutionary psychology. I really hope you guys check that out. You guys know I respect Destiny a lot, especially as a debater. And then HOMAF and me have become good buddies. We're trying to figure out a way for HOMAF to come visit me in Vegas, but we can't tell anybody about it because we want to keep his identity a secret. And then Mysteries. So today we're going to have Mystery on the live stream to do Q&A. On Wednesday, my interview with Mystery, it's about 2 hours long, is going to be coming out. And I want you guys to definitely check that out. That should be really good. We got a bunch of big interviews coming up here in the future that I'm really excited. Yeah, have them wear a ski mask. No, what I'm going to do is, it's so funny. So when HOMAF comes out, for you guys know who HOMAF is, when HOMAF comes out, I'm going to have him bring his notepad out with me to the club, and he's going to be touching things on the notepad, like on the drawings, while pointing at the DJ or whatever, but you never see his face. I think we're going to do that. We're going to have HOMAF is going to make videos while he's out at the club. Awesome. All right, guys. So here's the thing. Here's what I need you to do. Until Mystery gets on, what I need you guys to do is take your hand down if the question's for Mystery. Leave your hand up as the question's for me. And once Erik gets on, then we'll switch it up. Sound good? We'll do that first. Also, if it's a question for Mystery, that's fine. If it's a question for me and you're in Men of Action, please wait till the second hour. If you're not in Men of Action, go ahead and keep your hand up right now, and then we'll try to get this thing started. And then finally, this is probably the most important thing, is that you guys, the reason why everybody knew about this from MOA is because we had, Erik, I see some of you guys are already joining the forum right now while we're talking. You guys can join our free forum, and the forum actually gives you access to all these different things. So there's the forum right now. I just pasted it in there. For those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, and yes, I will be reading super chats. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you guys want to go ahead and click that link, join our free group. There it is right there. You guys can check that out and go. All right, we're going to start with some Q&As. Man, I'm super excited about it today, man. I've been looking forward to this for like a month, man. Glad to have Erik on. So we're going to start out with my man in, I think he's in Dallas, he's in Texas somewhere. My man, Cade. Cade, what's your question? And hold on, Cade, unmute yourself.
Hey, Michael. My question was, how do you deal with female friends, boyfriends who stalk you or are threatened by you, which really makes me laugh. It's really entertaining. It's hilarious to me.
Okay, guys, I want you to consider. Cade, how old are you?
16.
Okay, Cade, how long have you been following our stuff? Just out of curiosity.
I found it at the beginning of this year, so I'm coming up on about or the beginning of the calendar or of the school year.
Last year.
So that's been about, it's been half a year to a year, somewhere in that
Okay.
range.
Okay. So Cade has been with us for like just say 9 months. Cade is 16 years old and he's already asking questions. Like Tyler, are you seeing this? How fucking hilarious this is? Sorry, I
This
shouldn't be
is
using profanity.
this is
Cade is
so
16 years
funny.
old. Okay. Cade is like, he's using the principles we teach in this program, and he already has the boyfriends of his female friends stalking him. Like, this is a problem I deal with at 46. And it's so funny for people when they join the program. If you join any other programs, it's like, I can't get a girl to go out with me. Nah, nah, nah. If you guys are in MOA, you guys know you've been in it for a while. The questions are always the same. Hey, Michael, when I'm throwing a photo shoot, this one girl grabbed my dick in front of everyone. How do I stop her from doing that again? Those are always the questions we have. And it just makes me happy that these are the problems we have. It's like the problem is that I have too much women, too much money, and too much food. I'm too good looking. Like, these are the problems you guys have, you know? That's what I love about this program is that I listen to you guys often. It's like, man, my two girlfriends are starting to get jealous of one another. Like, these are the questions you guys give me every week. So I appreciate it. Hey, here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why, if you're in MOA, those are really my only new guy friends, unless you're really successful or you're in MOA. I don't make a ton of new guy friends anymore. And the reason why, Cade, is because of exactly what you're talking about. Often I'll have a girl who will come to my bikini competition, or she'll come to one of my events, and she'll come frequently, and her boyfriend will try to make friends with me. And I know why he's doing it. He's doing it so that maybe I'll snitch on her if she starts fucking around with some other dude, and it might even be me. This is why, when Drake says no new friends, that's what he means. That's why he says no new friends, because what happens is every time you talk to a girl, and here's something a lot of you guys don't know, almost every girl you talk to, even if they don't have a boyfriend, there's some dude around there who thinks he owns it. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Put a one in the chat if you guys know what I'm saying. There's, even when the girl doesn't have a boyfriend, you guys ever met that girl and she's like, yeah, I don't have a boyfriend, but she like lives with her baby's daddy and they have sex every night, but she doesn't have a man. Have you ever met that girl before? Like, every girl, there's a dude somewhere, even if she doesn't even believe it, there's a dude somewhere who's like, yeah, her vagina belongs to me. Like, she still thinks that way. And so that's something that you have to recognize. There's always some dude like that. And the thing is, what'll often happen to me, one thing I've noticed is that girls like being friends with me because I get them into cool parties and I'm a fun guy to hang out with. And guys like to hang out with me because I know a bunch of really, really awesome girls. But what I found is that girls don't want their boyfriends hanging out with me, and guys don't want their girlfriends hanging out with me. That's something I've noticed. Cade, you just take your credit card out and you just charge it to the game. This is just the cost of success. Dudes are going to stalk you. When they make your life a problem, then that's a separate issue. But dude, you're 16 years old. Like I said before, I want you to learn high ticket sales and copywriting. Like, I'm worried about you. You're too good with women at 16. It actually scares me a little bit.
The funniest part is I was in the gym whenever he saw me. I was doing incline dumbbell press, and I see this big dude behind me lat spreading, like almost directly behind me. And I was just like, is that 90s, or is that somebody's boyfriend? And I was like,
Yeah.
it is. I was like, I don't know what he's trying to do here. The other thing you'll get a kick out of, so last 6 weeks in school, I got an 84 in chemistry. So my parents are trying to get me to get my grades up, and their punishment for me, the worst part about it has been they took away my Spotify. So I can't listen to podcasts because they noticed that.
What about YouTube?
Do YouTube and everything. Like, all my social media is turned off until 10 o'clock. So, and the Spotify thing is the one that's really kicking my butt, because it's like I'm listening.
Well, hey man, let's get good at chemistry. Just say, you know what we can do is jump on the call and then be like, hey, Cade. So just out of curiosity, what's the only element on the periodic table that can have 4 covalent bonds at the same time? Anybody write it in the chat. The only element in the chemistry on the periodic table that can have 4 covalent bonds at the same time.
It's purely effort related, but
yeah, they all got it right. The answer is carbon. The answer is carbon. That is the correct answer. Got it, dude. So maybe you're studying chemistry with me. Maybe just say, hey, Michael Sartain discusses chemistry. He helps me with my chemistry homework. Yeah, building block of life. Ready? Yes. That's why you say when a girl says something dumb, you're a waste of carbon. That's what that means. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Cade. Good to talk to you, man. Didn't that motivate the shit out of you? Write Cade in the chat if that motivated the shit out of you. See a 16-year-old kid. He's like, what do I do when these girls' boyfriends are stalking me, bro? It's so great. Oh my God. Hey, did anybody see a funny video? This like some people were commenting in my chat the other day telling me that I'm not 6 feet tall. This was the funniest thing ever. So I've never talked about how tall I am, except for one time I talked about it on whatever podcast. And I said, hey, I really understand what short guys are going through. I was like, it doesn't make any sense for women to like men who are tall, because men who are tall, you don't have a higher chance of survival. And I'm saying this as a guy who's 6'1". I've never said that any other time except that one time. There are people out there like literally telling everyone that I'm 5'9", I'm 5'10", whatever. It is hilarious. But I tell you, one of the funniest things I heard the other day or yesterday was there was this guy. It was the same group of dudes, and they wrote something to the effect of. So I debated Destiny yesterday, and Destiny has a chef. So his chef was like bringing in food, and I was like, "Yo, bro, you got money like that? Good job, bro. I guess when you debate Alex Jones, you get this like fucking money so you can have a chef." And everyone was laughing. This guy writes in the comments, he goes, "Thanks for letting everyone know how poor you are, Michael. Other people can afford a chef, letting us know how unsuccessful you are." So the thing is, I didn't realize that this guy didn't understand that I was joking. And that's one of the serious things. Like sometimes I listen to people online and I'm like, why are these trolls saying what they're saying? And at first I thought it was just because they're bad people. And then I realized a lot of times it's because they're autistic. They just don't get that you're joking. They don't get the joke. A lot of times as men, they just don't get it. And it's something that you have to be careful of, because it's one of the most unattractive things that a man can be is like uncalibrated. And so that's a great example of somebody being like super, super uncalibrated. Andre versus himself. Andre, what's your question? Oh, sorry, brother. Unmute yourself. Sorry, Andre. Hold on. Andre, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? Testing,
Sure
testing.
can. Yep.
All right. So a couple calls ago, you said that there's a difference between cold approach and pickup, and I was wondering what you meant by that. And then, and you always talk about breaking rapport. So what do you mean? Like, what's an example of breaking rapport with like a stranger you're at the bar or the club?
Yeah. Yeah. So pickup is going to be man to woman always. There's very little pickup man to man. I mean, I guess if you're gay, but like for the most part, pickup is an intersexual action. And then pickup is direct or indirect. And then pickup is like scripted or natural. There's just different types of pickup, but pickup has it's a bit intent based. Does that make sense? Cold approach, you can go cold approach fucking real estate agents at a convention. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
pickup is inside of cold approach. They're not do you understand what I mean when I say they're different? One thing that I do that's different is when I go approach men who are high status or women who are attractive, you'll notice I treat them the same. That's why I make the differentiation. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
I don't have like a separate pickup persona. So that's what the reason why I make the thing. And then as far as breaking rapport, I was talking to, who was I talking to yesterday? A couple days ago, Jeremy Minor. When we were talking to Jeremy Minor, and one of the things we were talking about is like subverting expectations or pattern interrupt. So when you think of break and rapport, think of a pattern interrupt. So consider this, Andre. You go outside, you're walking outside of the club, you're going to the valet, and there's a really pretty girl, and you go up and talk to her, and you're like, hey, do you live here? Blah, 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 whatever. You're just asking your normal situational questions. You're talking to her, and she just looks at you, and she seems like kind of interested, and she's like, I'm cool, I'm with my friend. And then while you're doing that, a super hot girl walks up to you and starts kissing you on the cheek. She didn't expect that. Or you're sitting there in valet, and then the Lamborghini pulls up, and well, it's nice to meet you, and you just get in your Lamborghini. Do you see how that's a pattern interrupt?
Right. Yeah.
So that's a pattern, like another pattern interrupt, great one that Neil Strauss used. He would walk up to a girl and be like, my ex-girlfriend's in here somewhere. She's stalking me. Is it cool if I stand here for a little bit? You see how that's a pattern interrupt? We may change it in the program to pattern interrupt as opposed to break and rapport. But break and rapport, when we say break and rapport, we mean pattern interrupt. If you listen to Jordan Belfort, when he says break and rapport, he actually means something different. What the problem is the severing rapport. And Mystery will probably talk about this a little bit. Severing rapport will happen when you go hyper direct with women sometimes, or if you get hyper insulting. You're not breaking rapport anymore. It's not a pattern interrupt. It's like she finds you repulsive and wants to leave. That's severing rapport. That's not breaking rapport. Does that make sense, Andre?
Yeah. Because my issue is like, 99% of the time I'm just like in an interview mode, like you were saying in the beginning, but there's no pattern to interrupt.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let me see if we can get this thing set up. Rob, can you hear me? You got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Is Mystery on a separate channel or on this one?
He's on a separate one. He should be on.
I don't
somewhere.
see him. Can you see if you see him anywhere?
Mystery's here.
What's his name on here?
Erik. Type in
There we go.
Erik in the
Found it.
participants.
Eric,
Here we are.
there he is. Beautiful. All right, guys, from this point forward, take your hands, lower all your hands, and then only raise your hand if you are interested in asking Erik and Beckster a question. Okay, so we're gonna get to that real quick because we know it's like 12:27 where you are, Erik, and so we want to respect your time. I know you're spending time with your kids, but I thought you'd appreciate all the people that are on here. We got 88 people watching on here, and then there's
Good
another
time.
several hundred watching us on YouTube right now.
Beckster, are you on your phone? Can you turn it sideways if so?
There we go.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Full screen.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys, if you have questions for Erik, go ahead and raise your hands now, and then we can, I know, right? We can have a discussion here. Reza, what's your question? Reza, stand by. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Mystery. Hey, Beckster. And hey, Michael. How you doing?
How's Toronto?
Hey.
Toronto I live in Oakville, so you know how Oakville is. Pretty boring, but awesome to have the opportunity to ask you a question. I'm good at sort of being very confident with myself in nightclubs. No matter how upscale the club is, I let loose and I don't care about what I do for work. I don't care how much money I make. I'm very confident in the nightclub settings. However, in the daytime, when I'm at Starbucks or when I want to approach the woman in the daytime, that's when I'm like, oh, if she asks me what I do for a living, I feel insecure. And why is that? Can you give me some tips in terms of why am I so confident in the nightclubs, but then in the daytime, and it's not alcohol, by the way, if that's what you're thinking. So yeah, that's my question.
Fair enough. Well, some people don't know that you are a DJ. And so as a DJ at nighttime, I'm sure you feel comfortable in those settings. And in the daytime, you can't demonstrate your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the main issue. Stick to night game. If that's your strong suit, day game feels you feel that strange discomfort. That discomfort's telling you something. It's telling you that there may be a better way. Those are my thoughts.
I think also in the daytime, you're limited on how much game you can use. In a nightclub, you can use social proof. You can merge sets, forward merging, backwards merging. You're in an environment to maybe keno more, and there's more options. In the day, you're limited to just attraction, really, and you've really got to ramp that up because people aren't expecting that in the daytime. Plus, I think you need to be in a city that's a day game city, if that's what you're talking about. For example, London's a very day game city, but I don't think LA is a day game city because it's a drive around city. So you're limited, that's all. And in a nightclub, in a good nightclub, management has brought all the hot girls in for you to be in a room with at once, instead of you spending ages walking around trying to find that girl that you really want. So it's more productive at night. That's the difference.
And there's just so much more volume at night. During the day, it's there's barely any sets, as you pointed out, in your typical city, right?
It's basically, they're basically bonus rounds. Day game to me are bonus rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to focus on skill set development, you should go into public gatherings where you could do a lot of group approaches in a short amount of time. And then you can also take advantage of allowing the last group that you've opened to assist you with building social proof for opening the next set or group of people. I prefer night game.
Cool.
Awesome, man. Let's get to answer your question, Reza.
Yes, 100%. Thank you. Good
Beautiful.
Let's say, you know what? Let's go down to Jamaica. Steven, what's going on, man? What's your question?
Hey, what up, Mike? How you doing, bro?
Hey.
Mister, I'll be quick. All right, so I know when you are getting good, you spend a lot of time practicing in your hometown. What do you have to say for someone that's kind of stuck in their hometown that kind of feels like you already kind of have a reputation, you're not that respected? And it kind of feels incredibly difficult to game. How would you do that? You can't leave, you can't move, because you could easily just move to another city and it works out.
Well,
you're stuck in your hometown.
Of course, you would just move. That's on my mind, is if you're unhappy, this weekend,
you can get on a plane and go somewhere. And if you're broke, be broke somewhere else.
I can't move though because like I'm taking care of my dad, so I can't. So I have to like.
Then
Is
then
it possible to
he's
work?
definitely shot you in the leg.
So that you would just recommend just leaving?
Of course. Of course. If you live in a small town, and a lot of guys live in small towns. I myself, well, visiting my sister outside of Toronto
Mhm.
is an hour and a half outside of Toronto. It's too far. It's like living in a small town. So what do I have to do? I have to forcefully create a project on my master projects list. I call it Project Social,
Mhm.
and focus on that and figure out a way of getting out of that small town,
Mhm.
even if it's just for a long weekend,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
3 days equals 3 nights of fun. So you can go to a new city. I
Mhm.
recommend Amsterdam. It's easy to get to, or Las Vegas, easy to
Yeah.
get to, and go for 3 days, 3 or 4 days, and come back potentially with the new girlfriend.
Mm.
Especially if you
That's
get an Airbnb, it's like having your home there somewhere else instantly.
Yeah.
Just put a picture frame up on the wall of you.
Put a picture of my family up in the in the corner.
Exactly.
preferably your family.
Hilarious.
Yeah. All right, man. All right, guys. Take care, man.
Let's bring somebody else up here real quick. I think this would kind of be interesting here. And then let me see. Erik, have you ever met Rollo?
I have not. Hi, Rolo.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pleasure.
Hey,
He is.
pleasure to meet you, man.
I'm in the UK right now,
Yeah,
visiting my
Hey,
children.
thanks for staying up so late too. By the way, I know how it is.
Yeah, no worries. I got to get up with the kids tomorrow.
I actually got two questions for you. The first one I think is sort of more of like a general one, so I'll just ask that one first. Since you've been doing game and you're like one of the, I would say one of the luminaries, I guess, for lack of a better term, in game pickup and everything else, I was just wondering, what have you seen change in the last, say, like 20 years? Because every time I hear people talk about pickup artists or whatever, they tend to have you as their mental image with the top hat and the big, the feather boa and the black fingernail polish and the elevator boots and the big digital T-shirt. Have you seen anything like what do you think has what needs like updating in PUA or game, and what do you think still stays the same? Just for point of reference, I mean, it used to be a thing in the game where it's like if you got a number close or if you got a kiss close or an F close, that those were sort of markers for success, or they were like sort of goal point, like benchmarks, I think. Whereas today, getting a phone number is not as big a deal as it used to be back in, say, like 2005. So like follow me on Instagram is sort of now the, a number close. But I'm just wondering, would you agree with that? Would you say following on Instagram is like comparable to getting a number close? And what have you seen that has changed, that sort of has changed the game?
Well, there are a lot of game changers. One of the game changers is opening groups of people rather than focusing on the fantasy of opening a girl all by herself.
Mhm.
The fantasy that people run through their mind is, what do I say to a woman to make her attracted to me? And the truth is, before you can even get to that point, she's likely in a group. I would say 2/3 of all approach scenarios are the 3 set. That's 3 people in the group. So you're going to have to open the group. Now, that's something we were doing, and that was, the game changer back in the day. And it's something that we continue to do now. It's an excellent game changer. If you're focused on only doing single approach theory, you can change to group approach theory and really open up your options. That's one thing. What's another thing? Beckster, are you there?
Yes,
Beckster in the house?
two
What are
thoughts
some
I
of your
have on it. One of them is we do something called the double opt-in. So if you're talking specifically about getting contact details to see the person at a later date, if you're not going to take them, bounce them home straight away, is first of all, 5 or 10 minutes in, because you could get an interrupt that will spoil the set, you want to get some sort of close. And now a soft close is, are you Instagram friendly? Not, do you have Instagram? Can I have your Instagram? Are you Instagram friendly? Which is normally a yes. Okay, I'll take it then. And then you swap it, but then you go back, put your phone away, carry on with your game. And then maybe 15, 20 minutes in, say, oh, I trust you now. Are you WhatsApp friendly or Telegram friendly? I trust you now. Are you WhatsApp friendly? Because you built more rapport. And also you've done a yes ladder. You've done a soft close. So the harder close is going to be a lot easier. And a WhatsApp is basically their number, isn't it? So are you WhatsApp friendly? I trust you now. Or you can do the capture recapture where you,
Would you rather just like have them on IG than WhatsApp?
Both. I want both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both.
Because one is she might be on private, even though you should get her to accept it straight away. And here's a way of doing that, because some girls just take them and they don't care to follow you back.
Yeah.
But you say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 pictures of you, one I love and one I hate. And you're going to do the same to me on mine. So now she's actually investing in your Instagram, looking at your photos. Say you've got a minute to do it or 30 seconds to do it. They're going to heart the 2, one they like, one they hate. And that way they have to accept you. They're more invested. They've seen some of your pictures. So some DHVs are hopefully uploaded to their brain. And then with that in mind, you can also find out what pictures to replicate and ones to delete of yours, because you're getting a good reference points from lots of girls.
So you're getting the reference point from the girls. Got it.
Yeah, so it's data. And then later, 10 minutes in, so you don't want to look needy, you don't want to go for the hard close straight away. You say, oh, I trust you now. Are you WhatsApp or Telegram friendly? So you've got double ways of contacting them. But also there's the capture recapture, where you're talking to the girl. Willingness to walk away is powerful. You've got the soft close of Instagram. And then you come back 5, 10, 15 minutes later when they probably talk to some boring people and they miss you. You go back in and you say, how rude of me. I should have got your WhatsApp. Are you WhatsApp friendly? As if you're being rude about it, but it's like saying, you get the science behind it. It's like saying, it's a must. I should have got your number. We were having such a good conversation that of course we should have swapped WhatsApps. It's that sort of mentality, as if you just expect that you should have swapped them.
Can I ask you guys a question? What do you guys think about the idea? This is something that I've been experimenting with for like the last 10 years. Actually, since Erik in Los Angeles showed me the manila envelope, the photo opener, is that I started to make content with girls in set. So like selfie videos. And then I would either post the video in a close friends list so that I could tag them in it, or I would post it on my story, or I would send it to them directly and then they would see that they're tagged in it. Or finally, I would just, what was the other one? I could DM it to them. These are different ways. So for instance, I have some clients that are maybe going through a custody battle, like they're getting divorced, and they're like, well, I want to go out with girls and I want to post some of these things on my story. So I'll use my close friends list, which is just attractive when I'm on my close friends list. And so what you'll get is, situations like similar to this. One of the reasons
fucking crazy in here. We can't be this close. We can't be this close. We can't be this close. We can't.
And one thing that I've noticed that's changed is that the way that women act when you pull out the selfie video, they get so incredibly.
Wait, what are we doing? Guys, stop. Guys, you can't be this. We can't be this. Stop.
Like I just met them, Erik. This was my opener. And like, it's just like the way they climb into it because you do this. And then when I send them the message and they're tagged in it, the likelihood of them leaving me in the request folder and then putting me into the primary, it's exponentially high.
Stop, get away. No, it's against the rules. Governor Sisolak will fine us. We can't do this.
You guys understand? So have you considered?
So include them in, basically.
Yeah, so I just start the thing, but I'm like, okay, I want this girl's number. So I put them all behind me. It's like, hey guys, get behind me. The light comes on my camera and I film it. And I usually act like, oh my God, look at my new friends. Or I thought we were going to an animal rescue convention. Why are all these girls in bikinis? Or, hey man, I thought this was Bible study. Why is everyone grabbing my ass? And the girls climb into the video. And then I either tag them in the video on story or tag them in video on story on close friends list, or I send them the video directly.
So they're buying into your story, they're buying into your frame,
Yes,
and
but
joining along. Yeah.
but here's the other reason, Beckster, because what happens even if I don't talk to them again, I still have social proof for the next girl,
Indeed.
and I use that on my
Indeed.
social media. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a good game plan. I
Good
like
You
it.
do thousands of these, and then it ends up being just thousands and thousands and thousands of clips of social proof that allow you to just do crazy stuff.
Agreed.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to host clubs back in the day, and it was yeah, I had lots of material from it, and it is the more social proof you have, the more you get. It's like a magnet; it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like
Yeah, I mean,
rolling.
Erik said 80% of attraction is pre-selection, right? So like this one probably I got more attention for this one probably anything I've ever done. This was my birthday party, and I had 50 girls show up in orange because I went to UT Austin. I'm a Longhorn, and they all wore like cat ears because I rescue cats. And we walked in there, and I showed that video. I posted sometimes in my ads, and I get so much attention from women from it because there are two things that happen. Every girl in the video I tagged, and it was social proof for the future. So that's why I really like that strategy.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
Yeah,
you can't beat social proof.
No. Definitely can't.
As Mystery says, what is it, Mystery? 80% of attraction is social proof.
I love it.
Pre-selection, where you're pre-selected by women. It saves the step of a woman having to really truly get to know you, because it implies that you have other characteristics of a man who has value for them.
Erik, have you ever, so I had Dr. David Buss, the evolutionary psychologist, on my show, and I asked him about pre-selection, and he said, yes, we call it mate choice copying. Have you ever looked up mate choice copying?
No.
Yeah, I would recommend mate choice copying and Sexy Son's hypothesis. They're the scientific backing behind why pre-selection works. Really, really interesting stuff. Yeah.
I just use it.
Yeah.
Hey, Erik, I got a question for Erik real quick. Do you make a distinction between social proof and pre-selection?
Not really.
Do you just use those terms interchangeably, or would you say that like pre-selection is really something that's more reserved for women and men, or do you and then like social proof would be something could be women and men together, like getting social proof?
Yeah, a semantic debate. For me, I just work on what's practical in field. So you're going to build social proof with whatever group you can. Sometimes there will be men in that group. Men are just ugly women. You can still approach those groups.
Men are just ugly women. That's so great. I forgot you told me that a million years. Dude, I forgot. Men are just ugly women. That's it. Just approach them like women. It's just they're ugly. That's it.
My last question was this: is one of the things that you used to do. I still refer back to this video occasionally. At one point, you said that the only way that a woman really invests in you or really falls in love with you is she has to feel jealousy before she can feel any kind of can make an emotional investment in you. Can you extrapolate on that? Do you still?
I can. My thought behind it is a woman doesn't know she's attracted to you until she's surprised by the sense of jealousy a rival gives her. She doesn't even know she's attracted. And then someone comes, a woman comes to talk to you while this first woman has already invested time in you. And here is this other woman coming to take the investment away. So if it happens in the first 5 minutes, they may have envy. They may be envious of the other woman, but they won't feel jealousy. It isn't until there's an investment, a good 25 minutes of investment generally, before I will attempt a jealousy plot line. And that is quite simply taking two groups of people, opening two sets, each with a woman of interest, and letting the two groups meet and merge, and letting the two women fight for you. You cannot be fought for unless you have two women in the scenario to play the game with you. So what I do is I construct scenarios. When I go into public gatherings, I don't just look at the set. I look at the room and I see how I can parlay social proof in order to build attraction with people of my interest. Now, to answer your very first question, back in the day, your question was about they were going for phone numbers, and now, is that a real close? Well, if we get under the definition of pickup, pickup happens when you get their phone number. It doesn't mean much, you know. Real true pickup artists know that that doesn't necessarily mean much. She could be giving her phone number to you just to get rid of you fast, right? For example. So yes, back in the day, the newbies would get a phone number and we would congratulate them for the good job of getting that far. But that is only pickup. There's also mid game, which is comfort building time, you know, a good 6 hours generally of comfort building time. And then there's end game, which we'd call seduction. So you could be great at pickup, but if you're horrible at mid game, you're never going to get to end game, son. You have to take it stage by stage and get good at the different phases of those stages. There's 3 phases per stage, a beginning, middle, and ending for attraction, a beginning, middle, and ending for comfort, a beginning, middle, and ending for seduction. That is a full courtship. But pickup is just from meeting her to getting a phone number. Pickup's just the first stage. Mid game is comfort building time. End game is seduction time. And if you have attraction and comfort, she'll seduce you. She's attracted to you and she feels comfortable with you. You just have to set up an opportunity to be pursued. You know, get somewhere private and she'll end up showing her seduction skills. Women are much better at seduction than me. Maybe you guys are good at seduction, but my focus personally is on attraction and comfort building. And I allow her to seduce me. It's a good game plan.
Erik, you mentioned the term evolutionary pang. And then you also talked about, well, actually, first of all, let me ask you, are you familiar with any of Rollo's books, The Rational Male? Have you ever read The Rational Male? Rob,
I have heard of The Rational, certainly.
You've read it?
But I have not read the whole book. No, I never had it on.
I always felt like, especially early on, the two books, The Mystery Method, the Venusian Artan book, The Game, and The Rational Male were almost like seminal to creating the space that exists today.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. And then the other thing is you referred to it when you said when girls feel that pang. You said evolutionary pang. It's something I've stolen from you because it really does make a lot of sense. It's something she can't control. It's just something that happens. She has no decision over it.
Well, I think everyone has a decision over their own pangs, but emotions do play a strong role in your decision making. I trust my instincts. They were given to me by my ancestors. So I trust them. So if I feel creeped out by somebody, I am going to take the psychological hint. You know, I'm going to trust my inner parent to dictate how I should and whom I should hang out with based on how I feel around them. So yeah, I want a woman when she meets me to feel first good. I want her to feel good around me, and most importantly, I want her to feel comfortable. And what comfort means to me is very similar to what comfort means to an airline. The customers may get uncomfortable in the cabin. So what the airline is more interested in doing is not making you comfortable, but rather removing discomfort, making sure you're not uncomfortable. Make sense? So that's what comfort is to me. Comfort is the lack of discomfort.
Beautiful. Let's get to some more questions. Let's see here. Let's go to Will. Will, what's your question? Hold on, Will.
Grateful to be here. So one thing I would love for you to expand on and give us some tips on is a couple ideas that you've always said that I feel like have been underemphasized and forgotten for over a decade until Sartain came back into the picture. And those ideas include attractive women almost always move in groups, not alone. And then it's important to be comfortable approaching these groups, merging these sets, and it's better to be introduced by a female to another female. Because I think for the last few years, the mentality is mostly been one man approaches one woman or one group of women, and then you get rejected, and then you rinse and repeat. So I'm really curious for you and Michael to kind of discuss that, and if there's any tips you can give us on getting more comfortable doing that, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. One of my thoughts, I guess I have two right now. I'll see if I can hold on to the second thought. The first thought is, what's the question again?
It's about getting women to introduce you to other women. Is that the question, Will?
Yeah, pretty
No,
much.
there was the other thought, which is I'm less concerned with being confident in opening a set as I am with being talkative. If you're in a talkative state, you can convey your personality and the game is on. Being confident isn't what I'm out to, make my students. What I'm out to do is make them competent. So yeah, you can be nervous to open up a group of beautiful women. It's okay to be, concerned inside, but you still have to competently open. You're allowed to be afraid. I give you permission if you need that. Someone out there who's in the game himself, myself, I'm in the game, Beckster too, we get nervous before we open up a particularly beautiful set because it's important, right? But what we can do is rely on the competence of the gambits that we run, the opening gambits, or what we call openers. The second thought is know your opener. If you know your opener before you open the set, before you even see the set, before you leave your home, you know what your opener is, you'll be much more inclined to open, and you'll be less threatened by the uncertainty that opening strangers can bring you. Fair?
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Awesome, man. Let's keep it going. Joe Ali. Joe, what's your question?
Am I on? My live?
What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Joe?
So I wanted to say hello, Michael. Hello, Rolo and team. Mystery, after reading the book, I always wondered what you look like and what you would like as a person. And so now, as of right now, I'm not disappointed. And
well, cheers to that. I'm glad to have made you happy.
Yeah, this is a success on my bucket list, and it's been 12 years in the making. So I guess to add to what you were saying, it is a group thing, and to like ease the situation. Like when I go out, I'm always in a situation where I focus and mentally prepare myself for when I leave the house, when I get there, what's going to happen when I return. So I always got a schedule in mind. And so as some advice I will give the fellas is, instead of putting yourself in a situation where you got to focus on everything around you, you go to a group setting, but it's easy to navigate what you're gonna do. Like you go to a club, you might have to switch sides to the club. So you're gonna have to switch sides, eat food, and interact. So at that point, all you have to do is find somebody you like, talk to them, and the environment is gonna control what happens. You could be talking to this person, you gotta go eat food. Now you switch the conversation. Do you like this kind of food? Do you like that kind of food? Or switch it and then say, oh, well, do you like this kind of dance? Do you like that? You don't have to think anymore. And
Joe, did you have a question for Mystery? I mean, I love where you're going here, but like we only have him for a limited time. Do you have a question for Mystery?
The question I would ask him is, if you were in a situation where you couldn't interact with people for a long time and you was maybe locked up and things of that nature, what would be the best course of action to introduce yourself back into the environment? Thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen, and I appreciate you, Captain.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe, very nice meeting you. Good question. To answer the first thought that you had, it comes in waves. You have to ride the waves of the different groups of people that you interact with in a nightclub environment. There are many waves, and you can select which wave to ride and which to let pass, because you're looking for the superset. You're looking for the dream girl, I would presume. And if you're just practicing, You know, you can ride the little waves. You can go play with the people who you weren't going to end up drawing into your life for a long time. You can end up interacting with a whole group of people all night long, and at the end of the night, choose not to see them again. But still have a good time. Women have that decision to make as well. They can have a good time with you, but it could mean absolutely nothing long term. So you have to choose the waves that you're riding wisely. And of course, they're rough and unruly waves. When you're in a nightclub environment, it's very dynamic. So we want to have some sense of control. And one way you can control the various groups of people, the one person you can trust to be there to help you in every set is you. So as long as you stick to your gambits, you're running your material, you're conveying your personality, and the game is afoot. If you shut up and let them speak, you're not conveying your personality, you're not triggering attraction. So the first 5 minutes is me. It's me talking, me conveying my personality, even ranting. And then I will offer them the opportunity in A3, where we qualify the girl, to invest in me. And qualifying or investing in the man is so important that it's not just the gambit that we run. It's a phase. It's actually in the structure of pickup. It's a phase. We qualify a woman. We ask, I would say, a good 5 questions, not necessarily all in a row. A question and then a gambit, and then a question, and then a conversational gambit, then another question. And these questions get them to invest in you. Those are my thoughts on that. What was your second question, Joe? If we can be more concise.
No, it was just what do you do if you're locked up for a long time?
And I have been,
you come back, back up.
Yeah, what you do is you get a good wingman. Like I have Beckster as my wingman, my compadre, and he sometimes will fly all the way to Toronto to get me out if necessary. That is, what you have to do. You have no other option than to get out in the field again. And anything that keeps you, that prevents you from being in field, is just exercising excuse-making muscles, right? Excuse muscles. Don't exercise your excuse muscles.
I love it.
Get out in field no matter what. Open sets. Don't let anyone else stop you. And if you are inside for too long, if you're locked up inside too long, choose a date to get out and go out and start interacting with others again.
I think he was referring to incarceration.
Fair. Well, for me, I was thinking about COVID,
sure.
which is, a lot of
similar
people
similar
relate.
Situation. Yeah. Beautiful.
Fair.
Beautiful. Reza, what's your question? You had another question, Reza? Go ahead.
He's looking at porn.
Reza, go and unmute yourself.
I wasn't unmuting. Sorry about that. Okay, so another question is the idea of congruency tests. I'm not getting shit tested these days at all. Or when I say these days, like if I'm not getting shit tested and I'm not dealing with AMOGs, cock blocks, is that a bad thing? Does it mean that I'm not being aggressive enough in my approach? Like, do you get shit tested in AMOG still, Mystery?
I would say I don't get AMOGs really. I'm also 6'5", so it's less likely that I'd be AMOG'd, but I enjoy AMOGs. I like to keep them in set. I like to tool them. If a man wishes to disrespect me in public, I've written a book on negs, so there's a lot of things that I know I can say to put them in their place. So I personally enjoy AMOG. That's fun for me. It also can parlay into him lowering his value in the set and thereby giving the woman of interest to me by error, right? So that's AMOGing. As for shit tests or congruence tests, I don't elicit them. I don't have a Sometimes people are nasty, and all I'll say is you're operating from a position of pain right now. I hope you find a way out. I hope you get better. That's all you would say to someone who is treating you like shit is you're operating from a place of pain. No one would have said that if they were in a good mood or you were trying to make others in a good mood. You obviously are trying to bring others down. Don't bring your baggage to the club. No one cares. No one cares.
All right,
I
guys.
think,
Real
Erik,
quick.
you don't get negged because you put the neg in first. You don't get shit tested because you put the neg in first. You put the spanner in the works first, so they got to fight for you. So that's why I think that doesn't happen.
Very fair. Thanks, Beckster. That reminds me of the narrative of choice, and what is the game changer is to choose the narrative that the woman is chasing the man. Usually the man is chasing the woman, and people's game reflects that narrative. You know, if you think you have to put your hand on her knee and have her accept it, and if she doesn't and she pushes your hand off her knee, you lose value. You're playing the wrong game, son. Instead, a better narrative is to have her chase you. So I take her hand and put it on my knee and say, that's all you get. And then I'll say, can you cook? No. All right, well, you're losing me. And then push her off me. Now she can chase me. You cannot be chased unless you give them the gift of the chase. You actually have to run a gambit to get them to chase you. I'll give you a visual, for instance. Let's pretend this is the girl and this is me. I'm taller. I come on in and I'm chatting away with her. Here I am chatting away, and I never leave the set. How can she chase me if I am hovering over her? Instead, at some point, I'll say, all right, you're losing me, and walk off. Or something that Neil Strauss, the pickup artist formerly known as Style, what he would do is say, let's agree to disagree, and walk away. You know, create a little dramatic debate and say, let's agree to disagree, and then walk away. You cannot be chased unless you walk away. Now she can chase you. So if you have a willingness to walk away and you demonstrate it 2 or 3 times within your set, she will feel the desire to pursue you and revalidate herself. That happens to be a much better narrative overall, to have the girl chase the guy, for the guy to represent that he is the prize. That is a much better game plan, and that's the one that I use.
Okay. Thank you so much. I guess my misunderstanding was I thought congruency tests were like teasing and flirting, but it's not the case. It's like, you know what I mean? It's more like the girl is actually putting you down. It's not like she's sort of flirting with you. It's not like that.
That's why we call them shit tests.
Right.
Right? Really, they're congruence tests. They want to test if you're congruent. But what I say is, you know, I don't have a boss. I don't have someone that I have to take my earrings out before I go to work. I don't work for anyone. I work with people, but not for people. Now, if I say that to a group of people, they'll change their behavior around me. It's just a fact. They do that. That's a DHV, a demonstration of higher value, right? So if you DHV, they're not going to shit test you. They only shit test low value people to see if they're worth anything. And if you put them in their place properly, like saying, let's agree to disagree, or all right, you're losing me. Or I've eaten girls like you for breakfast. Are you teasing? You're pooping words right now. I can smell it. You run a series of negs in this manner, and you should get the result of a neg is laughter. You should get them laughing and smiling. And that's really the key that I've noted amongst all the various pickup artists I've met around the world. The best pickup artists that I've got a chance to game with, to actually go in field and meet women with and be in set with, they all have a laugh track in their pickups. So if you don't have a laugh track in your pickup, if you're not laughing all the way to the bedroom, you're doing something wrong. Laughter really indicator of comfort. So let's get them comfortable around us. Let's get them feeling good around us. Change her mood, not her mind. And you'll be well underway to building attraction and comfort with the woman, certainly.
I love it. Guys, one more time. For those of you who are new to this, you're not going to actually raise your hand. There's a thing at the bottom on Zoom that says reaction. You're going to click reaction and then raise hand, and then I'm going to call on you, okay? Let's go to the next one. It's Michael Hardesty. Michael, what's your question? Hold on, Michael. I keep forgetting to do the unmute. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
There we go. Hey, Michael. Hey, Erik. Nice to meet you. Just a quick question. One of the first things you learn in MOA is treat women all the same and keep them talking about themselves. So I was just wondering how that meshes with your approach of displaying your personality for the first 5 minutes, sort of talking about yourself or demonstrating your personality.
I understand. You can't do all the rules. You can't do all at once.
Mm-hmm.
The rules must be placed into different phases in the pickup. There's pickup, mid game, and end game. And there's 3 phases for each of those 3 stages. So be happy with the phase you're in. Focus on the phase you're in order to get to the next phase. But certainly you wouldn't crush all the phases together and try to get her to talk while you're busy talking.
Mm-hmm.
A1 is about opening. A2 is about you talking and conveying high value and triggering her attraction. Phase 3 is allowing her to impress you, asking her questions that allow her to indulge in talking about herself to you. And then you can reward her for the good behavior of having done so, investing in you. It has to happen in phases.
Okay. Thank you.
Good meeting you.
Thank you, Michael.
Good to meet you too.
Cade, what's going on, man? Cade, go ahead and unmute yourself. Is Cade there? All right. Missing Cade.
Yes. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Mystery, it's nice to meet you. You're a legend in the game. I've heard a lot about you. Glad I get to finally talk to you. I was just wondering what advice you had to high school age males. So I'm 16 right now, for context.
Okay. You don't have to start the game yet. You're going to be just fine, son. Don't worry about it. You're 16. Do other things. Get involved in other things. You're too young to come to a boot camp. You're too young to get into a club where the game is really played. You're too young to go after women. You're going after girls. If you want to get a girlfriend, certainly, I think it's healthy to have a girlfriend at 16, but you won't be going to public gatherings, venues, rooftop patio bars. You're consigned to having to go to, the gym. So good luck. And don't worry so much. I wish I could go back in time. That's what I would say to myself. When I was 19 years old, I would say, worry less. It's going to be just fine. Women are in the game too. They love men, so they're going to absolutely eat you up. Don't you worry.
I would just suggest if you're at college, just join some groups, like some hobby groups, different things that are going on, or even better, just start your own where people come to you.
Okay.
Good idea. Get social.
Rollo,
Epic
I had a
Wednesdays.
question
Have
for
an
you,
epic Wednesday night.
Because Rollo on one of the last calls gave me the advice to not get a girlfriend. So I was just, okay. Thank you. I appreciate the input.
All right.
Fair enough.
Dylan, what's your question? Dylan Martin.
Hello. Hear me?
Hey, what's going on, Dylan?
Dylan, very excellent. I want to say it's great to be here with Erik, Michael, Rollo. Crazy. I just woke up. Out of all the billions of people that we only got 92. Like, first off,
Well, no. Dylan, I'm only letting 90 people. Dylan, I'm only letting 90 people in the Zoom.
It's okay.
So the rest of them are watching on YouTube.
Well, they're very. Thank you, everyone. Q&A. I want to take up too much time. Also recommend that everyone write out the question. Other than that, Rolo.
Rolo's. I don't think Rolo's with us anymore right now. I think Rolo had to step out.
Another thing is for everyone listening, coming from first learned about.
Hey, Dylan, you're having some trouble with your audio. We're able to hear like every other word. So if you want to try this again, maybe I don't know if you're on a Bluetooth speaker, get off that. But we're like, there's a trigger that's happening, and it's like the middle way of your second word is where we hear something. Billy, what's your question? Billy Black.
Big Black. That's a good name.
Billy, something's wrong with your audio. You guys, I'm telling you, you guys with your Bluetooth can't keep up for whatever reason. Billy, can we try this again? Okay, so Billy's having like some serious problems here. Let's go with Kenny. Kenny, what's your question?
Yeah. It looks like my business partner, I spent about 2 months in the Philippines, and he came to the conclusion that because of the cultural differences there, the women, they don't kind of go for the nuclear family. They kind of tend to stay connected to their extended family, and that kind of had a psychological shift on me. I was curious what your opinion was on that.
Could you give me an example?
Yeah, it looks like in that country, the women don't tend to pair off in the same way Western cultures do. They tend to stay with the extended family. And he saw that that was kind of a key issue with forming
Fair.
long-term relationships. I was curious what your perspective was on that.
I understand now. Game the family. You know, when you get a new girlfriend, you get a new family too. She gets a whole new group of friends. She doesn't just get a new boyfriend, she gets all your friends too, right? Her social circle expands. So allow that. A lot of men, they fear meeting a woman's friends and family. And sometimes they don't want to reveal their friends and family to the woman. It's like meeting a girl all by herself in front of a magazine rack. It's kind of weird, where she never meets your friends, you never meet her friends. A better game plan is to recognize that women are rarely alone anyway. And you want those women in those magazines, not the ones looking at them. So you're going to definitely have to work groups because those women are social. Women in those magazines, they're social. And so you're going to have to be social as well. And that means slowing down your game and taking the time, extending yourself to meeting others. It takes more energy, but you're going to meet her family and friends too. You know, one time this happened in Belgrade many, many, many moons ago, but I recall this. I met a beautiful woman and her beautiful daughter. And Neil was with me. Neil
Well,
Strauss.
it looks like I should clarify. He essentially said the natural conclusion of that was that she'll never put you as the most important person in her life. It'll always be her family, and that being the key issue. I was curious what your thoughts were on that.
Do you
Game
have to be
harder.
more important than her dad? Can her dad still be her dad? I don't need to replace her dad. Maybe there's enough love in her heart for everyone. That's what I'm looking for. A woman who loves people. And maybe she'd love me too. That's the game I play, by the way, is I play love game. You know, if a woman loves you, she'll give her body to you to please you. I'm not after sex. I'm after love. You know, I want all those gushy feelings that women want, men want too. At least I want. So I'd slow it down. I'd take the time to get to know the family too. Yeah.
Hey, we got Eric, we got somebody here for you.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Good times.
Eric, can you see the screen?
I see the screen.
Hey,
hey, buddy.
Did you see the fight outside?
Everyone.
I saw these two girls that are fighting over this guy named George.
Jorge, I met him. How you doing, Cosmo? Cosmo, season 1 winner of the Pickup Artist is in the house.
Life is great. Life is great. You changed my life. Thank you so much. And it's good to see Mike. Mike was out with us years and years ago. It feels like a different lifetime right now.
And we're all in it together, man. And here's something for the boys to hear, and it's a real truth statement. There's room at the top for everyone. You know, on boot camp, everyone gets a girl. Everyone has a chance. Everyone gets their shot. You know, there are no scarce resources. So you don't have to fight for women. Cosmo and I have been great wingmen in field. I've watched him do some miraculous sets. Do you remember that set in the restaurant, brother? Where you hung up the phone when the girl was going to Uber, and then you just reached out all the way slowly so she knew what you were doing. She just let you hang it up, and she stayed with you. So that was an amazing pickup to watch you do.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And yeah, I heard I told Mike I was jumping on, so I was on about 15 minutes ago, and I heard one of the guys talk about being nervous, and I wanted to comment on that real quick. I feel like, because I'm a fighter as well too, I've been boxing for 19 years. If I'm not nervous, guys, or if I don't have like that adrenaline or my heart is pumping, it's usually because I'm not challenging myself or I'm just kind of not competing with a really good fighter. So anyone who does feel nervous, if you're walking up to 8 women or you get like a little bit of a, this rush, instead of calling it approach anxiety, I would call it approach excitement. It's just excitement energy. I mean, if I go out and I don't feel any excitement or nerves, I'm not challenging myself and it's too boring. So I would say welcome those feelings.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And the rewards are high. They're,
Yeah.
The bigger the challenge, the greater the reward. So it is worth challenging yourself. And especially even if you fail, I'd rather fail with the 10 than succeed with the 7. Not that I rate women. I would never rate women from 1 to 10. But it is but that is the truth.
That's been my issue also for the last 15 years. It's like there's like 6 girls that are interested in me and the prettiest one isn't, and I just spend the whole time going after the prettiest one. I've always had that issue.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather have tried.
Yeah, exactly. I feel exactly the same. I come home happy as shit. I don't even care. Like it's just
I win
went
for
after
the attempt.
for
I'm
sure.
there for the attempt. I don't even
Yeah.
have to succeed that
It's
night. Just the attempt alone makes me pleased.
It's Caleb in the Old Testament. He wanted the big grapes. He wanted to go there where the big grapes were. Exactly. All right, man.
This is
Let's
biblical
do
in nature.
biblical. Let's Dylan Martin. Dylan, what's your question?
Can you hear me now?
Sure can.
Yes, sir.
All right, Eric. So, how old are you? Just for a reference point.
I'm now 52 years old.
52. Excellent. So, I'm 29. I recommend, and Rolo recommends that I wait till I am over 30 and at least 2 years well established into a career before pursuing a long-term relationship seriously. And
Okay. Well, you'll need a skill set though before you get to choosing one.
yes, so I feel like
wait.
for me, I got my routine, my skill down so that within an hour of saying hello to the girl, within the 1 hour time, we are, in the bedroom, in the bed, in a comfortable environment, feeling safe.
That doesn't sound.
But I've been able to repeat this over and over again,
Right.
So for me, it's like I'm not really worried about not finding love in the future. I just recently I'm leaving an LDR, like a long distance relationship, from the last 6 to 7 months. So I'm dealing with the current negative consequences of my actions, as well as the other ones that are not being mentioned at the moment. My question is kind of like, do you have love right now with one woman or many women, and then how would you create a structure of happiness between you and the men and the women in your life?
Well, my present situation is I'm holding out for a dream girl. Right now I'm in my children's mother's house. They're sleeping upstairs right now, my kids. I'm visiting the UK. And after this, I'm headed to Barcelona to run a training boot camp with a group of students. And we're going to be gaming hardcore in the by the beach area. There's a whole bunch of nightclubs. and
Sorry, which country?
tourists flock there. We're going to Barcelona next.
Oh,
Yeah,
Spain.
we're
Excellent.
training in Barcelona. So what I would recommend is that you focus on training.
Yes.
You know, you get to socializing, you get to training, you get to gaming girls, getting options, getting
Wait, so
phone numbers,
you have
hanging out with
children.
women,
So
familiarizing yourself. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm sorry to cut you off. It's true, but it's
No
like
worries.
you're looking for the dream girl. For me personally, I have found my dream girl over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, me
So
too.
yes. So like yeah, like
My next dream girl.
to help
Someone I
out the
could
future version of
maybe
me
marry.
that'll be listening in a few years back from now, and it's like,
Dylan, do you have a question?
well, yeah, it's like, is there like an end to chasing the dream girl? Because you should.
Yeah, life is short. I'm 52 now. How'd this
Yeah.
happen? It just
Well,
flashes by.
you know Rolo now. You got Michael here. Like you're in the greatest company.
No doubt, no doubt.
But I just don't understand this. Like
you will
love. Like you want to find love. You're looking for love. Why don't you have it?
You aren't gaming hard enough.
No. I'm asking you.
To grind
Me.
to find.
I found it.
Lucky you. I'm grinding. I'm grinding to find. That's why I'm going to hop on an airplane when I'm done my visit here in the UK. I'm going to Barcelona.
Yes.
To meet the hot tourists that come from all over the world to visit Barcelona.
And the big booty Latinas that are also just walking around.
I suppose so. My focus will be on the tourists, though.
Okay.
I have a penchant for particularly beautiful women.
You have your type.
I have a certain type.
Yes.
And I'm sure that I'll see it again.
Absolutely.
In Barcelona at those nightclubs by the beach. They're absolutely wonderful venues that we're going to take the boys to. And we're going to game.
I feel the exact same way when it comes to right now. Well, for right now it could change, but for me it's Morocco and the women in Morocco.
Awesome.
Fair
awesome,
enough.
Dylan.
But
very
very
cool,
nice.
man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for your question, man. Hey, Erik, who the fuck is this guy? Do you see this shit?
Which guy? I see one of them. That's me.
This is Dallas, or no, this is Los Angeles 2010.
Oh, that's you, man, with short hair.
Yeah. Hold on. Where's another one? There we go. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir. Yes,
there
sir.
There we go.
Good times hanging out.
Yep. This is back in the day, man. It was a million years ago. All right. Awesome. Let's see here. Let's go to Don Juan. Don Juan, what's your question?
Yeah, I just had a quick question for you, Michael. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, like, how many photos do you recommend having on your Instagram before you start doing the next steps, like for building a list?
Such a great question. Don, have you taken the free program on the school server?
Yes, I have it right now.
Yeah, so 15 at probably the minimum, 12 to 15. But I want you to eventually have 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I wanted to ask.
Okay. Awesome. Very nice. Very nice.
Not to negate what you said, Michael, but what I do is I suggest that if people are starting out with Instagram, not that they're starting, a list, but starting their Instagram, they should have at least 6 pictures to start, so that if you get a phone number or get a contact exchange, rather, the woman will see something there rather than nothing. So you're not too mysterious, enough for her to get a sense that you are trying, that you're being social, but you don't have to be super social. That could actually be a detriment to some people. Some women could look at your social proof and think she doesn't stand a chance, right? So what I suggest to people is that you have 6 pictures at least, and the idea is to not lose the girl that you've gotten, to follow you. Don't lose the girl with the pictures. You don't have to get the girl with the pictures. Just don't lose her with them. We'll start there.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks.
All right, let's keep it going here. Let's do Will. Will, what's your question?
So I feel like the general public has misinterpreted the term negs. they see it as negative or insulting a woman, but the way you describe it, how they respond with a laugh, I wonder if it's more like a pattern interrupt in a way where you're displaying behaviors of high status people or something that's uncommon to what she's typically used to when men approach her. Could you
Well,
expand upon
you're
that?
treating her like, sure, you're treating her like her brother or her dad. You know, you're not taking her beauty and putting her up on a pedestal because of it. You're able to joke with her, right? So a neg is a statement or action to briefly disqualify yourself from being considered a potential suitor. That's the definition. So if I say to a girl, "Oh, you're off your rocker," I'm not insulting her. I'm just not believing what she's saying because not everything a girl says is going to be believed, right? So I will throw that out, and the result usually is laughter, of course. I wrote a book on negs called Book of Negs. It's available at askmystery.com in my digital store. It's bundled with my Hey Guys book on openers, 60 plus openers, a collection of openers that you only need 5 for a night. 5 openers should prepare you for a night of fun. But you know, having 150 plus negs in that book will prime you and prepare you for the shit tests and congruence tests that you are going to get from groups of people. So you have to be able to hold your own in a group, and negs will help you do that. It'll give you the creativity to even create your own negs if necessary. But we got 150 negs in that book, Book of Negs. So that's a good
Mystery. I think that it's important if maybe you could just quickly touch upon the neg with the calibrator so people get a little bit of an idea.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting into micro calibration. The idea of saying to a girl, "You have beautiful eyes," that is an indicator of interest. You have beautiful eyes. She may say, "I have a boyfriend," right? But if you say, "You have beautiful eyes," and before she says anything, you then say, "Can I touch them?" This is by Ali G, by Sacha Baron Cohen. It's one of his jokes. You know, you sure? Wow, you have beautiful eyes. Wait for the pause, wait for the pause right before she speaks. Can I touch them? It's funny, right? So you're giving an IOI and calibrating with an IOD. So she can't say, "I have a boyfriend." It protects you. The opposite can happen too. You can do an IOD, like, "You are such an asshole." And she can say, "You're an asshole," in response. But if you have that flinch there, you say, "You're such an asshole. Get over here," and hug her. You're such an asshole. Get over here. And you hug her. She's much more likely to feel comfortable with your hug by running it this way than by just simply saying, "Give me a hug." You know? That reminds me, by the way, my 9-year-old son, Vegas. His name's Vegas, by the way. My daughter named
Wow.
him.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Yeah, Vegas von Markovik. 9 years old, and his favorite opener is, "Who needs a hug?" He comes in with a big smile, and that's how he opens up a group. And I think that's a great opener for a 9-year-old.
Nice. All right, man. Let's keep it going. Oh, real quick, I want to read 2 super chats that we got here. And the first one is from Siege D. Erik, mystery, aged pretty well. W. Sartain Psychology. Thank you, Siege. And then also we have another super chat from TOF. Pleasure to have you on, Erik. What were your overall thoughts on Neil's book, The Game? What did he get right, and what do you feel he exaggerated?
Ooh, interesting. Let me, I'll say it to you straight. Before he published the book, he allowed me to read it. So he came to me afterwards, after I had read it, or at least large sections of it. We were doing it section by section, in fact, over a course of many moons. He came to me and said, "It's too truthful. I'm going to change names. It's too truthful." And I said, "What do you care if it's too truthful? Truthful sells. Truth sells." We lived it. Should we apologize? We're not doing anything illegal. We're going out and we're meeting people and bringing them back to our parties. How cool is that? It's a cool lifestyle. How, we're not doing anything too outrageous. The outrage came in the strange dramas that the women that we pulled into our lives gave us. That was the controversy of that book. But it's very truthful. The names were changed just to amalgamate characters, two different side characters into one character, for example. Very little was changed, in my opinion, from what we did, from the lifestyles that we were leading. Uh, it's a page turner. He's an excellent writer, better than I will ever be, especially since he keeps writing hits, right? He keeps writing bestsellers. So, I overall am very pleased that chapter 1 is titled Meet Mystery.
Have you read The Setup by Dan Bilzerian? Have you ever read that book?
I did not, but I have met Dan Bilzerian, but I have never read his book. Is it good?
It's really good, and Erik edited it. Erik helped him write it. I'm Erik. I'm sorry, Neil. Neil helped him write it. Sorry,
Neil edited
helped
it.
So that Neil edited The Setup by Dan Bilzerian. I think you'd really like it, and you're going to notice a lot of similarities in the way the book was written.
Okay. Well, yeah. If Neil's mind was on it, no doubt. You've got a genius author.
For sure.
So I'm really proud to know him as a good friend. I love the guy. He's very smart, and I hope one day the game gets made into a movie.
Right.
I heard it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see the game get made into a movie, but if in the end he gets married and then says dating lots of women is bad, then it would have got made into a movie. But that's not what happened.
Well,
It's
maybe
just
they'll
not very.
include part 2 because he wrote more books on pickup afterwards. So we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, the thing about it is, if there's no movies, if you watch right now, where like the guy bangs a bunch of chicks and then is happy ever after. That's why Californication got canceled. Like it's nobody makes shows like that anymore. I'm pretty like I was watching Suits and I'm like, this show's gonna get and eventually it did. Reacher, I don't think is gonna last very long. Like signs of masculinity or men doing well with lots of women. That's like very politically incorrect now, and that's something I think that was different. Back when you were teaching pickup, is that there actually seems to be an overt. Try to message change. The guy who's really good with dating with lots of women. Yeah, because that guy's always looked at like a buffoon in media. There's very few. Can you think of an example right now on television of a guy who gets a lot of girls who's considered the good guy? They just don't exist.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it does bring up the show Mixology that was produced by Ryan Seacrest. He produced Mixology. I personally thought that show was absolutely great. It was about the whole season was about one night of pickup. 5 guys meeting 5 girls, who ends up with who. I thought that was a wonderful, wonderful flick, a wonderful experience of however many episodes that was. Well worth the effort in watching. You guys should see Mixology if you're into pickup.
It's very pickup related, yeah. It's even they mention the neg in it, don't they?
That's right. They mentioned negging, and they neg me with the mention of negging. She goes, "Oh, and now you're negging me." That's so 2005. What a neg.
At least 3 of them are pickup artists in it, and then there's a newbie that joins them. It's really fun.
Very fun show to watch. You'll enjoy it. And the women, the actresses that they have really brought personality to the game that the boys were playing. It's not a boys game. It's a boy and girl game. It's 50-50. Girls know how to game too. You just have to be on their radar.
Ice, go ahead, ask your question, Ice White.
Hey, I have asked this question to Ross Jeffries, Michael Sertine, a lot of people, and the question is, what are some things the pickup artist community gets wrong?
Okay, interesting. I think negging, first off, they think it's insulting. And if you read the definition, the formal definition, on the internet, it is not the actual definition. It is the neg version of it. It says that it is a backhanded insult. That's just the neg of negging. Someone doesn't like the idea, so they write something derogative about it, defining it instead of allowing me to define it. I'm the man who coined the word neg. It was used, neg hitting. Neg hitting was used by Trump in reference to how Hillary Clinton was treating him. Oh, she's just neg hitting me. So it is used in popular culture, but there is a misunderstanding that it's an insult. It's not so much of an insult as it is just putting a person in their place, demonstrating that you're not after them. It's the opposite of hitting on them. It's giving an indicator of disinterest or IOD. A neg and an IOD are the same thing.
I love it.
That's one. That's one.
Awesome, man. Any other question? Ice.
Yeah, any other things you think the community kind of really fucks up, has done incorrectly, or concepts that are not good?
People are still doing direct game, day game.
I was exactly about to say this. Yes.
Theory.
Yes.
So single approach theory is bonus rounds for me. Some people only play in that realm. They think that getting 15 no's on the street are going to one day pan out to getting a yes. And then it's a numbers game. And if you're going to play numbers game, at least build a skill set while you do it, instead of doing the wrong thing over and over and over again. It's not working. You feel like you're being a creep. You are, son. There's no need to creep women out. In fact, we do indirect approach. This is where we convey our personality first before they have to judge whether they want to see us again or not. Right? Some guys get it all wrong. You know, I'm like, the structure of pickup that I've developed is backwards engineered from what clearly worked in my life. So when you go through the 9 linear phases within courtship, you know, opening, DHVing, qualifying, moving the set into a lock-in position so that you can build comfort in C1, then getting a phone number, which is a time bridge to seeing her again at C2, and then bouncing her to C3, which is your living room, so that you can then go to S1, arousal, S2, handling last-minute resistance, which is minimized by recognizing that most pickups take, or most courtships rather, take 7 hours. They take somewhere between 4 and 10 hours. If it's under 4, you're compromising comfort. If it's over 10, you're falling into the let's just be friends zone. So 7 hours is a general rule for pickup that has been agreed by dozens of pickup artists around the world. You know, I've had a chance to meet them. So if you just abide by the structure and you take it baby steps, you know, just one phase at a time, and you'll get all the way to S3, which is seduction, mutual seduction. And you really aren't successful if you only have sex with the girl once. To me, that's a failure. You can't have sex with her a second time. But you can backwards rationalize it as a one-night stand that you chose. Really, it's her choice, and you just can't get any more. So that's a one-night stand. That's a failure. 3 times that you've had sex is an indicator or a pattern that you're in a sexual relationship with her. So courtship goes to having a sexual relationship rather than just having sex.
Mm-hmm. You remember Bad Boy, direct game guy from Croatia? Me and him were actually about to set up a debate between direct gamers and indirect gamers.
Oh,
and
Erik, you should come on that.
Yeah. He wants to take on everyone. Like, he wants to be by himself representing direct game, and wants to take on everyone who supports indirect game. So that'll be pretty funny.
Well, maybe I'll watch it.
Okay, cool.
Mystery, I think you should mention, though, there's levels to this game, the level system, if you have time.
That's right. We call them the 5 levels of game. The first level is not opening girls by themselves. That's level 0 game. Level 1 game is opening the group. That's where we start. Gentlemen, you want to open, you want to meet a beautiful woman, you're going to have to meet her and her friends. She's not alone. And her friends may be men. So if it's a 5 set, 1 girl, 5 guys, I've been in the situation where I've met these mixed sets. That's what we call a mix. A mixed set is men and women in them. And I've been in situations where 4 guys end up giving me the girl. So it is possible. It's actually, lucrative to open mixed sets. People don't know that, girls are bored as F when they're hanging out with a group of guys and no other people are introducing themselves because of those guys. That can become boring. So even if there's a couple, you can come in and talk to a couple. Couples are bored. Imagine you had a girlfriend, you went to a club, no one's talking to you, you're bored stiff, you may be, doing some public displays of affection to entertain each other for a while. But other than that, you would welcome the opportunity if someone came in and wasn't hitting on her, but rather nagged in order to demonstrate that he's not after her, mentioned he had a girlfriend, and then was fun, right? I've been in situations where I've opened up a 2 set, found out that the couple was married, and then I would go on to say, is it all right if I borrow your wife for a minute? I'm going to open up a group of people. I'd like her on my arm when I do so. So the woman I'm interested in that group will be less threatened by my approach. And I remember at the docks in Toronto, I remember doing this in one case, and the man said, "Oh, please, it sounds great, sounds fun." And we ended up opening the set together, she and I. She didn't have to talk; she was just there, and I ended up bringing the woman of interest back with me to the man. I brought his wife back along with the woman, so that worked in my favor. I think that indirect gives you greater maneuverability than direct. It allows you to be dynamic and deal with the fact that it's not based on your comfort levels of whether you two are going to have sex or not. It's based on her comfort levels. So when I hear I consistently get a girl within 1 hour, no disrespect, but that just doesn't sound real to me, based on the fact that I've met dozens upon dozens of pro PUAs around the world. I've trained a number of them. I know what works because I'm going in field. I'm an infielder. While many guys are talking on computers, I'm in field with Beckster talking to people in real life, right? There's a lot to learn from doing that. Those are my thoughts.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, we need to make these questions a little quicker with you guys because we don't want to keep them up all night. There's a few more questions. Two super chats that just came in. Number one, is Mystery still in touch with Sin and El Topo? This comes from Sam Sai. Do you still talk to Sin or El Topo?
No, I don't. There's 2 Sins. There's the original Sin, who is a very good buddy of mine for many years. I reach out to him and hope he someday contacts me. I don't have him on my social media, but yeah, he was a great guy, really smart. He wrote a book that was like a precursor to the game. He wrote a book on pickup. I forget the name now. It was something with the word attraction in it by Sin, S-I-N. And it included me in it and some of our stories. So if you're very interested, go seek him out. Yeah, he was a really good guy. Really enjoyed his company. Good friend.
Now, last question here is
El Topo. I don't recall. I remember the
Okay.
name, but I actually don't recall him right now. So apologies.
What is a frontier for modern game development? I know you mentioned something about artificial intelligence. What's a frontier you see, something that's coming up in the future?
That will change the game?
Sure.
I don't think nightclubs are going away. I don't think those beach clubs are going anywhere. If you don't go, you miss it. It's happening with or without you. Parties are occurring everywhere around the world right now. There are cities that have parties happening. And while we're here huddling for warmth, there are people right this very second in public gatherings, meeting real world women. That's where the game is played. Anything else is an excuse. Playing on Tinder, playing on, Instagram, trolling, looking for women you've never met. If you've met women and put them on your Instagram, then those are people you've met. Then you're using the system as a communication tool, not as a system for meeting girls you've never met before. I don't recommend meeting a girl on Instagram that you haven't actually met in real life, but that's just my personal opinion.
Nice. All right, guys, we're going to try to get through these pretty quick here. Joe, or I just do Isaiah. Isaiah, what's your question?
Yeah. Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yep.
Mystery?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's great to be with you guys. Mystery, honor to meet you. I know you're obviously, you're the legend. Mystery, I had a question. You maybe have been asked this before, I'm not sure, but it's in regards to kind of like the pretty much kind of the strategies and the context, because you wrote the book almost 20 years ago and a lot's changed in 20 years. Have you considered maybe like doing like a 20th anniversary edition, like Mystery Method, a reboot of Pickup in 2025 or something like that?
Well, the book stands on its own. I'm very proud of it. I've written additional books, and you can obtain many of them at askmystery.com. I've written one called The Pickup Artist. I've written another called Revelation, or rather, Love Drop wrote it about me. And it's available at askmystery.com. If you're into pickup, you're going to love Revelation. It is all about the revelation, which is microcalibration, how to be dynamic in set, not stick to a stack, a stack of material that's just one-sided. And there's no dynamic nature to it. So Revelation is a great book. Another great book that I'm very proud of, it's my new one, is called Game Changers. It's short and sweet, and it's an onboarder as far as I'm concerned. If you're new to pickup, you'll want to read Game Changers. If you're 15 years into pickup, you'll want to hear Game Changers because it'll tell you what you're already doing right. It'll just remind you of the basics. Game Changers is a good book, and it's also an audio that I've written, that I've read out.
And what's not in the book and what is not wrote is you have Mystery 2.0, which we do on boot camps. So that's the update.
That's right. Mystery 2.0 and the 5 keys to proficient pickup. That's what we discuss and teach in the live boot camps.
And I'm excited for you guys to come to Vegas, man. We can set something up. We have a bunch of locations you can use. I can get your whole crew in wherever. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Love it. Love the idea.
All right, cool. We need to go to the next question here. Hakeem, what's your question?
So basically, hello everyone. So my question is there a difference between picking up girls in different countries? So because I realized that some girls are more susceptible than others in different cultures. So is that like a difference?
Well, I don't like the word susceptible. That holds no meaning for me in my pickup. Culturally, there are differences, certainly, but the emotional circuitry that's hardwired into a woman's head, it's the same everywhere. No matter what culture you are, if you kick a puppy in front of her and she doesn't, flip out, there's something odd about her. If she laughs, there's something odd about her. So certainly you're going to want to, stick to the material that works, but it'll work everywhere.
Okay.
That's what I believe. I've also traveled many, many, many cities along with Beckster. Beckster and I have done hundreds of boot camps together in over 100 different cities. So that's world-class pickup. We don't swear. We represent the country where we come from when we interact with people. We don't take people's bullshit, but we will indulge in being way more polite than we normally are back at home with each other. Being polite, representing your country behaviorally, is a part of world-class pickup. So yeah, you're going to change her mood, not her mind. And her mood is the same everywhere in the world.
Okay. Thank you.
I
Yeah,
love it, man.
very good.
Arter,
Good question.
Arter,
Welcome aboard.
Arter, what's your question?
Hey guys, a question both to Mystery and Beckster, and thanks for showing up for the call. I'm in the community pickup community for a long time, so we appreciate the opportunity. So Mystery, actually very recently I reread the game after many years, and I remember one particular situation. I think it was you and Neil in the jacuzzi, and
Yeah, talking trash
yeah,
talking.
and Neil brought up something about, hey, you know, how about like dating multiple women and stuff? And you said that, hey, brother, we're like polyamorial, we're different than them. So that like brought up a question that I had many years ago, actually. I was wondering what you think about that. We as a pickup community tend to be on like fringes of societies a lot, outliers a lot, experiment with certain taboo topics for many people. Which takes a certain like, you know, kind of like challenging mindset. Something that I was always wondering is, why do you think that a lot of men in this community tend to steer away from the topic of like polyamory or advanced polyamory? I don't see very many pickup artists actually dating multiple women at the same time. At best, they have rotations of girls that like go in and out. And then they decline a lot of aspect of, well, the girl being polyamorial. And so for such a like taboo challenging community, why do you think that is, that never went further into exploration of what it is to build healthy polyamory relationships and explore that whole idea?
Well, I can't speak for other people. I can only speak for myself. And for myself, I've been into sequential monogamy. That is, when I'm with a woman, I want the girlfriend experience. And in return, I give her the boyfriend experience. And when that relationship ends, you know, perhaps I have to leave the country, leave the city. I come and visit for a week. We start a relationship. I have a girlfriend for a week while I'm in that city. And then bittersweet goodbyes happen. At every boot camp, bittersweet goodbyes happen. It's saying goodbye to all the beautiful women we've met that weekend, all the new friends we've met, even the students I miss. You know, many of the students have become my friends in the time that we've gamed in field together and had a blast. You know, so yeah, it's bittersweet, and I miss the people that I have to say goodbye to. That's a part of the game. And then you go to a new city and you're starting from scratch. And if you're lonely and alone, you have to get out of the house, son. You got to get back into the game, and you'll find another girl for the next leg of your journey. You know, sometimes relationships don't end, they simply complete. You know, they complete amicably. That happens. So yeah, it's sequential monogamy for me.
Beautiful. DJ Rez, what's your question, DJ Rez?
Hi there again. Okay. Mystery, my question is entitlement issues. So I've been dabbling in this stuff for many years, and I've been actually in field with Arthur, who just asked a question. Hi, Arthur. And he knows I'm a beast when it comes to opening. Okay. I am a beast. Now, I have entitlement issues, however. So what happens with me is I get friend zoned by the tens, and then by the less attractive ones, I'm able to build sexual chemistry. However, this entitlement issue, how is it a limiting belief I have? Do I need to go to the gym? What is causing me to, because I have the confidence to approach the tens, but I kind of become like their friend, and I don't actually believe that I can get in their pants, if that makes sense.
Sounds like you're treating them different to the ones that.
Ding, 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 ding. Treat them all the same. You know, like one of my best friends is Kindly Myers. She's a Playboy model, and another one of my friends, CJ Sparks. And do you know how I greet them? I say, "What up, motherfucker?" That's how I talk to them. When other guys come up to them, they're like, "Hi, you're really pretty," or "Wow, that's a really pretty dress." Bro, my voice does not change. The exact same voical tonality and inflection I have when I talk to a man is what I do when I talk to a woman. I treat them all the same and make them talk about themselves.
Good stuff. I agree with that. you know, definitely. You want them to you want to get them to invest in you, but at first you're going to want to demonstrate that this is not a pickup, that you're actually a talkative person and that you have things to say and you're in a talkative state. So that's reason enough to chat with people. One of my favorite openers is this one. Nothing can wreck this day. My friends and I, we conducted a caper, a project. And now that it's over, we are celebrating like the end of Ocean's 11. Nothing can wreck this day. I am so very grateful to be in this position right now. That's my opener. It's a statement opener. It's not a question opener. It's not a opinion opener. It's merely a statement. But there are DHVs or demonstrations of higher value built into it. And so I love statement openers. I love that opener in particular because I'm not needing anything from them by saying it.
One last thing, everyone should go to the gym. Everyone, regardless, this is not just for women. When you go to the gym, your body's going to produce more testosterone. Testosterone helps with your skin. It helps with your hair, your immune system. It helps with the thickness and density of your bones, muscle structure. It helps with protein synthesis. It helps with keeping body fat off. And if you gain more body fat, then the testosterone that your body produces aromatizes into estrogen, and it creates a downward cycle. So definitely, the gym is yes for everyone, every reason. Yes, the gym.
I'm putting my
Awesome,
hand
man.
up. I have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
How's it been?
Good, man. I mean, I can. It's been incredible. It's one of these things where
before you got into it until now, what's been the big game changer for you?
Yeah, the big game changer for me is the concept of like social proof, and then that being like an attraction trigger that I can use with like any girl. Like that has probably been the biggest change for me. It's just that like every girl knows who I am. When I go out, I'm always with lots of groups of girls, and I don't have to like work as hard in order to generate attraction. And the biggest difference for me, I will say though, is the concept that like before it was like the girl that I wanted. I would always get like the second or third hottest girl. And then like, that's not the case anymore. Now I always get the girl that I want. Like it's never really an issue anymore. So I think that's probably the biggest difference between then and now. Whereas before I was just kind of confused about what I was doing. All of a sudden now I can't even make this thing work, but I was going to show you something real quick. I just remember you talking to him before about the different stages when it came to, pickup. And, one of the last ones was having an incredible group, a social group of friends that's able to come and then just like celebrate with you and also bring other amazing people into your life. And that's the thing that I've been trying to build for the last couple of years. And I just remember like that kind of being the ideal a long time ago. This was my last birthday. I don't know if you can see on the screen. And this cost me $0. That's the other thing, Erik, is that I learned how to do this using no money at all. And I learned how to teach this to like thousands of other people, that this way of doing social circle and having people introduce you to other women, introducing you to other women, that's probably been the biggest difference for me as far as this whole thing is concerned. And just having an awesome group of people in your life that like want to celebrate your life. That's another thing. It's not, because pickup isn't just about meeting women. There's a whole different part of it, right?
Well, it's a level of game that I think you're playing, and you're playing the fifth level of game, hot game, where you're uploading these DHVs into their heads, and you're not even there. It's you're working when you don't when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
They go check your Instagram and they feel more attraction for you afterwards.
Well, it was
that's a good deal.
It was partially also meeting Bilzerian and then just seeing like how the social proof that he had. It was like one of these things where girls would say, "Oh, I don't like that you're with all these girls," but then the reaction is, why is it like hundreds of girls show up to my parties? I never have an issue finding someone to date. And then my clients all receive the exact same level of success. When they follow directions, they get the same level of success that I do. And why is that the case? And the case is because pre-selection, right? It's not just that. It's just, Eric, Dan talks about it in his book, The Setup. It's not just that pre-selection works. It's that it really doesn't end. Like, meaning like there's no point at which Justin Bieber becomes so popular that girls don't want to be with him anymore. There are some girls that are going to have issues with comfort, but as far as attraction, it's just one of these things where it's like and they'll even tell you they don't like it. But as far as attraction is concerned, it's just one of these things where, like, when you have attraction and a lot of girls like you, more girls like you, and it just seems to go on forever.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's the main thing I've noticed. And also
You mean
hosting
that
a bunch of
picture
bikini
goes on
competitions.
forever?
It goes on forever. Also hosting 50 bikini competitions also helps.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yep.
This is again hot game, level 5 game.
Mhm.
Level 1 game, I'll go through it real briefly. Level 1 game is opening groups. Level 2 game is merging sets, forward merging, backwards merging. Level 3 is allowing last night's successes to assist you in this night's successes. That is bringing women with you. Level 4 game is doing that for a month. Allowing all the phone numbers that you've collected to sweeten a party that you have, a rooftop patio party or barbecue Sunday at 2 p.m.
Mhm.
A month later, after entering a new city, who shows up to that party? Only the people you've met and maybe their friends. That's a level of game. It's called social circle game. And then the 5th level is hot game or celeb game. Celebs do it. And, even a plumber can can have a website. So if you're not Googleable, if the girl Googles you and finds nothing, well, then you're not playing that level of game.
Yeah.
If your social media isn't up to par, you're just not at that level yet. But don't get pissed off at people who are playing that level, because some people, I'm sure, will look at you, Mike, and they're going to feel envy. They're going to, hate you for it, lovingly hate you for it. And it's only because they're jealous. They've invested in getting to know you. They've invested in this. And here's a guy demonstrating success at a large scale, and they think it's impossible for them to do personally, so they poo-poo all over you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean,
It's
that's one of
just
the
that they're at a
issues.
different. If you're at a level of game, if you're playing level 1 game, opening groups for the first time in a new city, you're at level 1. Be happy with where you're at. Don't be pissed off at the guy who has 6 girls at his table. He's got 6 girls, I've got none. It's not fair. He did the work, son. He did the work. He's there on his day 2 with them. This isn't his day 1. He didn't meet them all here and now they're all at his table. He brought them with him from previous nights that he met them at. Right? So he did the work. Don't be pissed off at other people's good game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better.
Note that some people are playing all the games at once, all the levels at once.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say, Erik, I learned indirect game initially from you. And then I was like, okay, indirect game. Also, I don't want to be disrespectful. What is a way I can consistently generate attraction? And it was just the concept of pre-selection and having like tons and tons and tons of female friends. And the other thing I'll tell you that makes them also very mad, Erik, is that when I have clients who are 5 feet tall, who are also surrounded by women, because a lot of people like to bury themselves in their excuses. And then when I take your excuses and I'm like, no, your excuses don't work. They don't work no matter what color you are. I have Indian clients, Asian clients, short clients, old clients. It doesn't make any difference. Any one of the clients that you want to come up with, clients that are in their mid 50s, and then also clients that are a little bit heavier, or clients that are a grandfather. Clients that are a grandfather, there's no excuse. And so when you take away people's excuse, a lot of times they get really, really angry with you. And so I think a lot of things for you, Erik, I'm sure this is something you noticed when you first started doing this. Women or guys who only thought it was looks and money and status, and you came in there and showed them game will also get you women. If you've been believing your entire life that it was only looks, money, and status, and then Erik comes up, no, that doesn't make any sense. That pisses people off. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You're attacking their belief. You're attacking their religion.
Everyone is welcome to the party.
Yes.
If you think you're fat, be fat. Just wear a good avatar. You can't change it in a night. So as a long-term fitness goal, you can set your fitness goals long-term all you want. But tonight, it's not changing. So you have to just dress well, smile big, and know that everyone's welcome to the party and everyone gets a chance. So get your chance. If you don't leave the house because you think you're too fat for the party or too old for the party, well, then you won't get to the party and realize that there are other large people that are welcome to the party, other old people welcome to the party. Just get to the party. There are no excuses.
That's awesome. And the other thing, Eric, I'm gonna tell you, and I think a lot of us felt this way. It's like the first guy to run the 4-minute mile, Roger Bannister. It's like the second guy to run the 4-minute mile took 43 days later. It was for you. It's like I didn't have to do everything exactly the same way you did it, but the fact that number one, men could improve, and number two, there was a man who improved who's in front of me. That was enough proof for me to keep pushing. Does that make sense?
Fair.
Your successes would be an inspiration to other people in the way that you did it. Dude, I know some guys who are super rich and they have to do a different kind of game than I do. But one more time, let me say this again, because I saw some comments in there. None of the guys you saw in those photos spent any money to get any of those girls. I'll bet you 50 grand. This is just for the haters out there. We don't use any money to get girls.
No,
and so
I never ever play that game.
Of course.
I my ego.
Me neither.
I have an ego. I've never paid for sex ever in my life. If others have, that's fair, to each his own. But my ego's in play here. So I want it to be legitimate. I want to have the legitimate girlfriend experience. I want her to fall in love with me. And if that means I fall in love with her too and give her the boyfriend experience, so be it. Then we could just enjoy each other while we're together. That's my lifestyle.
I love this.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're gonna get through these next few questions so we can let Eric hit the hay here. Matthew Duff, really quick, what's your question?
Can you hear me, Michael?
Yep.
I'd like to start by thanking both Mystery and you for your time here today. And I had a question for you specifically. I've been following the first 4 steps, and I've been bringing girls to other people's events. At the last party, I brought 20 girls along. One way I've been able to achieve this is by attending various events and approaching different girls and inviting them to other cool events that I'm going to. And I've actively put all the girls that I've met in the friend zone with all the signs, treating them all the same, calling them you're like a sister to me, all of that sort of stuff. And I've been able to build lots of rapport doing this, and I leave on a good note. However, I've noticed after I leave, when they see me talking to the next group of girls, they kind of assume that they're assuming that I'm flirting with the next group of girls, and they're becoming annoyed and unresponsive because I think that I'm just inviting all these people to these events to hit on them, when in reality I'm just trying to create a fun event.
Well, Matthew, do you come up as hitting on them? So when I throw an event, nobody feels like I hit on them. What I would describe as this, and I'm curious if Eric believes this. I'm like a ball of uranium. I'm a block of uranium but instead of radiation, I radiate masculine or attractive value, but it's not focused in one direction until someone shows me interest. So I'm just there. I'm a ball of fun and radiate fun and energy and light. And the party, everyone wants to be on my side of the table. Everybody wants to be where I am in the club. But at no point am I like, damn, you're fucking hot. Look at that ass. Never.
No, I'm never saying anything like that. Yeah, I'm always trying to project good energy to sort of everyone that I'm around. But is this something that is there anything extra I can do to create?
No, I mean, I would merge. I think Mr. is going to say this. You would merge sets. I would go backward merge sets. If you have a group of girls that's annoyed that you're talking to a different group of girls, you need to introduce them to each other.
Yeah, they should meet each other.
Okay.
You should introduce
it's not possible to do too many sets at one event. You should introduce everyone together.
Say it again.
That's the social butterfly. Be a social butterfly, and it's the warm approach. When you go to a party and your friend introduces you to anyone at that party, you're not cold approaching. It's warm approach. You're being introduced. So that's something you could do to the women. You could say to them, come on, let's go make some friends. That's a forward merge. You should write that down, guys. Come on, let's go make some friends. And say that in your next set. And the fact that you're rolling off the girl of interest and opening another group in front of her and bringing her with you is really a DHV. You're demonstrating that you don't need her. You're demonstrating that you have options and you have a skill set that is unchallenged, that you can approach, meet, and attract people, and she is going to miss out if she doesn't stay with you.
Okay, cool.
Makes sense.
Thanks, guys. I have one more question. Sorry, Michael,
go ahead.
Did I interrupt you?
Real quick, go ahead. What's your question?
How do you, what is your response when, say you're inviting people to an event, inviting girls, and they want to bring a guy along, you're not really sure who this guy is, if he's calibrated.
So it depends on the event. If it's the Maxim party, if it's the Playboy Mansion, if it's the Ignite party, then generally I'm going to say, no, he has to buy a ticket. If it's Babes in Toyland, well, actually Babes in Toyland or Teatro, he's going to have to buy a ticket. If it's something like Swimsuit USA. So basically what I'll say is he has to buy a ticket to the event. For photo shoots, I have a very strict rule. It's like the girls don't feel comfortable when there's extra guys running around. So it's just the host, the photographers, and the ladies. There's no guys. I do it like that. What you don't want to do is, no, I want to get you away from your boyfriend so I can fucking hit on you. You want to stay as far away from that as possible.
Yeah. I'm never saying like no to boyfriends and stuff. Boyfriends are always okay with.
So here's the way I look at it. Go ahead.
I'm just saying I don't flinch. If I invite a woman over to the house, this has happened in the past, and she says, "Can I bring a friend?" I say, "Certainly, as long as I'll bring a friend as well, and we'll all supernova explode together." But I'll make sure that the girl, that the person I bring is a girl. So there's a jealousy plot line that can be built then for that purpose, But yeah, that's how I do it.
So like definitely event dependent then.
Forgive me, one more time.
Event dependent.
Event dependent. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background.
All right.
Well, I would say to them, are they cool? And I'd do that. Are they cool? Because if they're not, meaning, are they a girl? Because otherwise the club's just not going to let them in.
Oh yeah, I just straight up tell them the club's not going to let them in. That's what again, for club, it's not a problem. The issue you're going to have is the private mansion party or the fucking photo shoot. That's when they think they could bring dudes in. I have no trouble telling them the club has a ratio thing. They're not going to let your guy in, whatever. And the thing that you're going to find is that when, like Mystery said, when you don't flinch, you will be shocked how often they just leave their boyfriend at home.
Okay.
You'll be shocked, bro. Yes. But again, what they're doing is it's almost, they don't even know they're shit testing, but they're kind of saying, can I get my boyfriend in? Are you alpha enough? Can I get my boyfriend in? And you're like, no, you don't have to come if you don't want to. You don't have to come. Take it or leave it. A willingness to walk away. No, but you can't. It's like, well, I'm not going to come unless my boyfriend comes. And I'm like, well, I hope to see you at some other event. And then miraculously, you'll never believe what happens. They show up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. What I've done, I've invited men to my gatherings. And I would just say, bring some female energy with you. That's all, to balance it out. So you're not a dude that I have to get into the club, one extra dude. Bring a couple girls with you. You can get in yourself. We'll meet you inside the club. The girls will get you in for free anyway.
Awesome.
But that's a different level of game. If you can't play it, don't be pissed. Just play level 1 game. That's where you start from scratch. You're opening the 3 set in a new city. Play level 1 game, then you'll get to level 2 game, opening adjacent sets, merging sets. Then you'll get to level 3 game, which is bringing girls out with you again. Then you'll finally get to level 4 game, which is what Michael is playing, which is social circle game, bringing his successes over the last month, over the last 6 months, inviting them out again. And some of them come and they show up. And if you invite enough people, some of them are going to become your social proof for the night.
And the other thing is, as you do it more, then the percentage of them that shows up increases.
Okay.
As you do it more and you get a reputation where girls are like, man, I loved hanging out at his place. He had the alcohol I wanted. We played board games. He had a beautiful view. As that increases, then you'll start noticing instead of having 25% of the girls show up, it's like 50% or 60%, or the numbers keep going up. In the beginning, it's harder, but after a while, it gets easier and easier.
There is one extra hack to it as well. Once you're maybe going to many events a night, you want to go to one VIP club and then the one that goes on later, the after VIP club. So make sure they're near each other. And when you have your group of girls, your free table, your free drink, everything in there, and you've got 10, 20, 30 girls, what you say is, right, we're going to bounce to the club across the road because we've got fresh bottle there, fresh table, queue jump. But you all have to grab a girl each from this club. Now you've just doubled your girls. They can easily grab one girl each.
I love it.
I've moved practically the whole club to the next club.
Beckster and I have decided to do at least 2 venues per night. That should be everyone who's listening right now. Your game plan. If you're going out to a club, what if it sucks? You should have a backup. We run boot camp, so we have to have a backup. If a club is empty, our students will be very disappointed. So we set up 2 clubs, if not like we did in Toronto in January, Beckster and I, We did 3 venues per night, 4 nights in a row. That's grinding. The idea of grinding to find, grind to find. Beckster, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the idea of grinding, the Beckster grind.
Well, it's just that sometimes you want to give up, and that is that small push that gets you further in this game. People give up too easy. The easiest path out, the path of least resistance. But if you push that a little bit harder, what we found, there's a little algorithm to it, and it's 90% grind until you get to the other levels of game. If it's a new city and you haven't got any girls with you, it's a 90% grind and that 10% a bubble of love at the end. But most people give up. So most people don't win this. So you just got to keep grinding. It might be in the snow, the rain, the storm. It doesn't matter. You can go out there, because I pulled in them all, and it's lucrative. So keep pushing. If you give up, you don't learn.
You can go out on a night. You can go out when it's snowing. You can go out when it's raining. The party's there with or without you. There's always going to be the right venue. So pick a couple venues per night, gentlemen, and get out there. If the first place is great, grab some people to come to the second venue with you. And then that sweetens the pot for the second venue. In Hollywood, we would go to a pre-drink place, and then we would go to a club, and then we would go to the Hollywood Hills after hours parties, right? So you want more than one venue. That's my point. I'll leave it at that.
I love it. Rob Martinez. Rob, what's your question? Let's try to get through these quicker, guys. Rob
Hey guys,
Martinez.
I've met both of you guys. I've seen both of you guys in action. You guys are the real deal, but I'll make it quick. Mr. You talked earlier about getting that talkative zone. It's something that I can actually really reach when I'm not sober. And I know other guys struggle with this. I can actually do pretty well. It's when I'm sober that I get more stifled and stuff. And I did actually go a year sober to see like how the difference was, and it's pretty stark. What can you recommend so that I can, and other guys too, that they can be in that talkative zone even when they're like stone cold sober?
Well, I have I'm a magician, so I have a little trick. I act drunk. Beginning of the night, I act drunk. I rarely drink in field. Sometimes Beckster and I will have a shot at the end of a boot camp night. But other than that, I game sober. But I'll act tipsy. I'll sway a little bit. I'll poke you in the belly and say, what you got in your belly? What you drinking? Oh, you got that in your belly? I've got a double shot of Jaeger in my belly. You know what they're doing right now? You know what they're doing? They're making love in my belly. Right? I'm acting as if I'm in party mode. I'm drunk. You know how everyone is more, this is a better word than looser. They're loose by the end of the night. You're socialized. You've been in the same room with the people for a few hours, so you've become much more comfortable with interacting with them, So why not bring the energy of the end of the night to the beginning of the night? That's how I do it. I come in with a smile, big smile on my face, as if I'm a celebrity, as if I have no baggage, no mental baggage. So if you're not smiling on the open, you're shooting yourself in the leg on the open. If you come in going, hey, what's up? Being alpha male, being cool, you don't lose your masculinity by smiling, but you become less threatening. Do you know, as a man, do you know what it's like to be attracted to someone bigger and stronger than you? Maybe you do. Maybe there was that one girl, Olga. But other than that, that's a woman's perspective. You don't want to be threatening in any way. So if you smile on the in, it'll increase the chances of you opening the set by a good 300%. Smile.
I didn't mean more physically. I mean like much more successful than me, makes a lot more money than me, intimidates a lot of guys. It's in powerful positions. Not like she's like a beast.
I don't believe there's any competition. There's no competition in a club for me. I go into the club and I get my chance at working all the sets I want. If there are guys in those sets, I'll open them. if I have to neg the target and, the woman of interest in order to disarm the obstacles, I'll do that. But I will definitely befriend everyone in that group, perhaps even equally, until I get a chance to isolate my woman of interest with permission from the peer group. Hey, I've been neglecting your friend here. Is it all right if I talk to her for a moment? And they usually at that point say, yeah, sure, cool. Here, come join me for a sec. I want to tell you about yourself. But before I get to it, what do you got going for you more than your looks? And I'm off into qualifying the girl already in isolation with permission from the peer group. There is where there's will, there's a way, as my father used to say. Oh, I'm a poet, and I don't even realize the implications.
Dawson Walters, really quick. Dawson, what's your question?
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thrown a party and like too many people showed up and it got out of hand and then you had to kind of like manage it?
Me, no. But what about you, Mike? I'm sure that
no, like we usually do them in houses. So here's the trick, right? For you guys want to understand how to throw a party like this. You want to pick a location where you can just have like unlimited people. So this is like a party we threw back during COVID. You want to have like unlimited space, like a huge place, and then you want to invite girls 3 weeks out, and you don't invite any guys until 1 day out. And just a very small number of guys. When the ratio is really good, one of the things you're going to notice is that you rarely have an issue where there's too many people. If the ratio is really good, where there's a lot more girls than guys, you're usually good as far as that whole thing is concerned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just wanted to get like where I could focus on like hosting the party and the girls rather than like kind of like managing minutia. But I think that might come with practice, of course.
It will. It'll definitely come with practice. But I've never had an issue. Well, and this is also kind of a Vegas thing. There's never an issue where there's just too many people there. There's always, in Vegas, they can always accommodate more people. So what I would recommend is if you have an issue where you can only put 100 people in a place, then get 100 quality girls, and that's the only people you invite. And the thing you're going to find out really quick is that when you have really hot girls with you, Andrew. You never have to invite dudes. One trick, guys, try this if you don't believe me. Invite 1,000 girls to a party, get 100 to show up, invite no dudes, and you'll be shocked at how many guys just show up. And you didn't even invite them. You don't have to invite guys, but what you want is ratio. And when you have ratio, then your parties are better. Everyone wants to come to them. It doesn't make any difference what kind of parties there are. Ratio just trumps everything. It makes sense?
And if you don't have any men, then the women are going to get bored. And so you have to have a ratio that is pleasing to them.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Keep gaming.
I love
Game on.
Beautiful. Let's keep going here. Let's do somebody who hasn't raised their hand yet. Hold on. Let's do Hakeem. Dylan, have you done it? Dylan Martin? Hold on. Let's try this again. Dylan, unmute yourself. Oh, yeah. We were just talking to you a little while ago, Dylan. What was your question?
So where's Tyler? Next.
Tyler, Tyler's on Mammoth right now. Owen Cook was. Yes. I literally talked to him a couple minutes ago. He's skiing with his kids. Yeah.
Yes. Go on. Thank you.
Beautiful. Gabriel, what's your question?
All right. Thank you, Mystery. It's like quite a pleasure talking to you. You are familiar. Like I met you like when I was 15, and now I'm 25. You are like that ancient hero from ages past that emanates wisdom. It's like a really cool thing. And what I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to be really brief just to understand how your teaching has evolved over the years, is over time, the pickup community changed from focusing on the specific interaction with a very specific structure, like you would open, then you would nag, then you would build comfort, and seduction would be this two-person process, mutual process. Over time, it became more focused on the night. It's like the tempo of the night. So you would get in, you would do a bunch of short interactions. This would build your state up because you would be getting that compliance. You would be getting in a state, as we call it, and this would also build social proof in the club. So you would be perceived as popular or someone rather than nobody. And this is a very different take than what you did on mystery methods. And I want to know from you, like, what have you thought about it? Have you integrated that into your own teachings? And just what are your thoughts? Changing from individual interaction focused game to like, let's build our state up, our inner state, let's build our status up during the night. And then once we're feeling like the shit, now it's naturally easier to go for the pool, to go for the really real quality, high quality phone number, and this kind of things. I'm sorry in advance for my English. I'm speaking from Brazil.
No,
I hope you
not
could
a-
understand it.
Yes, of course, of course. Your English is great. I totally understand. Yeah, man. When you go to a public gathering, well, let's get back to what is the question itself. Let's get to the core of the
It sounded
question.
like a state question. My quick answer would be we start the night as it's the end of the night. So we don't go in quiet. We go in as you are when it's the end of the night. Happy
That's
and
right.
elated.
And also we don't go for, a pull. We don't try to get the girl out of the club in the first hour. We know that the first hour everyone's just getting settled in. They're not going anywhere. It's the last hour that's known as the power hour. That's where women are making their selection of all the men that they've met during the night. And, just like in the TV show Mixology, where the last episode was when the lights come on, when the ugly lights turn on, you got to make your choice. So yeah, don't do power hour moves in the first hour. There's no need. They're not going anywhere.
I love it. All right, man. Emanol, what's your question? Emanol.
Hello, Michael. Do you hear me now?
Sure can.
Yeah, this is more like a question for you. But even so, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mystery. My question for you, Michael, is like, what will be the best timing when it comes to like, doing an event, when it comes to like interviewing the girls and also letting them know that might be the timing for the spicy content is gonna come. That's my
so
question for you.
I don't really do spicy content. So one of the things that I'll tell you guys, any of you who throw a photo shoot, if you tell all the girls to show up in lingerie, a bunch of them won't even show up. If you tell all the girls they can shoot in whenever they want, they'll come, say thank you, and shoot nude. I never tell girls, let's do spicy stuff. I let women turn things sexual. I don't ever have to turn things sexual. If you have enough women around and the music is good and they're drinking and having fun, if your party is good, you will never have to turn things sexual. They will do that for you. So that's never an issue. As far as the interviews, I always do it at the beginning because they'll be sloshy drunk at the end.
Okay, gotcha.
As soon as they walk in.
The thing is, like, I literally had an event last week, and one of the girls was saying that she felt uncomfortable with some of the other girls that just went wild. And I was like, damn, it's like between classic girls and, the ones that go crazy. So
Russ Jeffries had a terrific saying, and I think you guys should all internalize this. I don't pay attention to what women say. I only pay attention to their actions. I only pay attention to what they respond to. Often women will complain about my lifestyle and then want to have sex with me after they complain. I stop listening to the complaints and only pay attention to their behavior. Does that make sense? So just because the girls
what a woman says and what she responds to are two different things. So when a woman says she wants a man to be a certain way, that doesn't necessarily ring true. Perhaps I'll give you for instance, a girl says, the last 5 guys that I've dated have been assholes. You're different. You're nice. I should date a nice guy like you. You know how you behave? Like an asshole, like the other 5 guys, because that's what works. There's a distinction between the two of what a woman says she wants and what she really wants. How she responds are two different things. Be aware of that.
Here's the thing, like my question was more into like my managing relationships, and I don't like the thing is I wanted to manage the relationship between the classic girls and the girls that go wild.
Stop thinking there's a difference because that's what is a huge mistake I made back in the beginning. Girls will say, oh, this is not classy and I don't want to be involved with this. And then the next day a celebrity will show up and they will show right the fuck up. The same thing. If you ever go to a club in Los Angeles, like outside of Warwick or fucking Hyde or whatever, you hear these women on Friday night complaining, fuck this club, I'm never coming back here. Those same women are there the next night. Okay. You've got to stop listening. You're trying to manage relationships. Just keep emanating value. Don't fucking worry about it. Now, don't be intractable. Don't be stupid or non-empathetic. But for the most part, it's like I'm not going to stop letting these girls have fun because you feel uncomfortable about it. And when you do that, you'll be shocked. She'll keep coming back.
All right. You know what? Point taken. That was all.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Chris, TOF, what's your question?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Sure can.
Yes, sir.
Hey, first of all, first time asking a question in person on one of these calls. Tuned into many of these calls, so thank you for hosting these bi-weekly, Michael. It's pretty awesome, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Erik. I remember reading your book back in high school, and it took me on I think a never-ending rabbit hole. I don't even think I've ever dug out of that. So I'd like to do this a little bit different. I'll give you 2 questions and I'll let you choose which one you would like to answer. So the first question
let's
is,
go.
Are there any particular fictional characters within movies, television, or literature that you felt had great game to where you didn't need to suspend your disbelief to buy the events taking place on screen or in text? And the second question, to what degree do you believe the following statement: a man is only as faithful as his options?
I'll pick the first one. It's more fun. The other one is
fair enough.
You know, it is what it is. What comes to mind is, or who comes to mind is Friends with Benefits. Have you seen that movie? Justin Timberlake. Was very believable. I thought his acting ability was just LA cool, really calibrated, and so was his love interest, Mila Kunis. Her ability to be cool, you know, in the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I thought the acting was absolutely superb. So, you know, the dynamics seemed very real to me in both those movies.
What about Jude Law and Alfie?
Oh, certainly. And his number one rule or number one advice rather is location, location, location.
Mm-hmm.
Where you live dictates your options. So if you're in a small town, get to a big town fast. You know, if you want to play the game, you want to be serious about it, you're going to travel. And you're going to recognize that airplanes are taxis in the sky. They're magical chairs that lead you to bubbles of love.
What about
you got to find the bubble of love?
What about the guy in Santa Monica on HBO who always wore the black T-shirt and the one ring on his finger, who drove the Porsche with the one light missing? Do you know which guy I'm talking about?
I don't. Tell me more.
I'm talking about Hank Moody in Californication.
Oh, I see. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you haven't seen Californication? Erik,
nope.
That's your homework assignment, bro. You're kidding. You haven't seen Californication?
Well, wait a sec. Is there violence involved?
No.
Is there any violence in that movie?
No, just ridiculous amounts of sex. It's just
okay.
This guy just falls in Californication. It's David Duchovny. He's basically, he's a sex addict. He's basically playing himself in the show, and he's just so good with women. It's outrageous.
I'll have to check that out. Thanks.
It's so good it would never get made again today because it's so politically incorrect. All right, guys.
Do you think the Pickup Artist TV show could be made again?
I think it would have to be something independent. It would have to be something like on a website. I just really think the hard part about it is because you know what happened, the infield footage on YouTube got taken down a lot of places, and there's just women that complain because they're like, because here's one of the things that happened. There was one time it was Owen Cook did a video one time where he goes up to a girl and he pretends to be gay. And he's like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I fucked so many guys, blah, blah, just totally pretending to be gay. He asked the girl, he's like, how many, it's like, I've fucked like 300 guys. How many girls or how many guys have you slept with? And the girl's like 70. She says like 70. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Later on during the interaction, I think she tells another guy, asks her the question, and she says like, yeah, I've only slept with like 4 guys. Later on, what happens is Owen comes out and is like, yeah, I'm not really gay. And the girl gets violent because she was exposed, because she was exposed. A lot of
Yeah, that's
times, us you doing things. And by the way, Owen took the video down. Owen's job wasn't doing. He just told the story after the fact. But the
Yep.
point is, the issue I'm trying to make is like nobody likes this. It's like women will purport one thing through feminism, and then you'll see them in field, and then they respond to masculine qualities that they call toxic, and they don't need that to be exposed on television. So I think we're going to have a hard time seeing that unless somebody wants to make it a YouTube series, or because I don't think Netflix or HBO would take a chance on the pickup artist. I really wish they would,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I feel you on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way,
That
I
could-
think you could make a lot more money if you did a YouTube series where you did like the earpiece infield stuff where you're like coaching them. If you did that on YouTube, you'd make way more money than you would have made on VH1 back in the day because a
I
really
don't,
good YouTube
well,
series.
I'm not focused on money that way. I'm doing fine.
Yeah, but it's got to fund itself. It's got to pay
You
for
know,
production
some
at some
people
point.
who are money oriented, they're boring. They bore
Yeah.
me. I don't need advice. I'm good when it comes to that. But
Yeah.
because everyone has advice constantly, you know,
Yeah.
especially poor people. They always have advice for you. I don't do infield footage. I mean, the best infield
Yeah.
footage is having VH1 film you through hidden cameras built into walls, along with hidden cameramen. We had cameramen hidden in the walls, and the televisions were the double glazed windows, so the camera could see through it. No one's going to spend $60,000 a night on infield footage like we did. So that's pretty unbeatable. I don't want any more infield footage because I'm discreet. You don't
Yeah.
want, cameras in clubs. You want discretion. So I'm all up for the whole discreet thing. I'll give you one example. I was doing some infield footage stuff back in the day at a club, and the cameras were bothering a celebrity that was in the club. I never met him, but I had heard he came up to the producer and said, "Hey, can these cameras go away?" And it was Mark Wahlberg. So they came up to me and said, "Hey, Mark Wahlberg doesn't want these cameras in here." And I thought, well, he's on the right track. I don't want them in here either. So we struck the production at midnight, and because Mark Wahlberg wanted the cameras gone, and we partied the night away. I believe in discretion. You know, it doesn't help you to videotape. I mean, maybe for business, but it doesn't help you in your social life generally.
I mean,
Eric-
when people want to watch the infield, they come on a boot camp.
That's right.
There's that.
They're
There's
in
that.
the infield.
People
you
have
guys
to
could
see
also,
what good pickup looks like.
yeah.
You have to see it because it doesn't look like pickup. It looks conversational. It
Yeah.
looks almost like you know each other. It's instant
Yeah.
rapport. It fools people. They're expecting miracles from mystery. You know, and yes, I do perform magic in many of my sets because I am a magician and I love magic and I think it works great in field. But yes, I have also done it in jeans and a t-shirt with no magic to prove that I can do it. I've done that enough times to know now that I prefer having people know that I love magic. You know, I just don't need to film my infield footage and post it for the world to see because it doesn't necessarily help your social life.
All right, man. Hey, listen, we kept you up late enough, man. So I appreciate you coming on. I can't tell you. Let's try this maybe in a quarter, maybe a couple months. Let's do this again, man. I would love to
Sounds
help you,
good, man. Yeah.
like share the message and the new stuff that you wanna put out. And guys, say write thank you mystery in the chat, man. If you appreciate him coming on here and doing this, if you guys want to
I'll be
see
sure to
more,
look through the chats before I go.
yeah,
Certainly.
more content like this. They're saying this in the chat and on
I see it
YouTube
coming
right
up
now.
right now. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very kind.
Beautiful. And man, like I said before, in our interview, my interview with Mystery, like it's just a one-on-one. That's going to come out on Wednesday. And like one of the things I said, I think a lot of people are just happy to know that you're happy and you're alive. Like I was happy
That's
when you told me Love Drop was alive. I didn't know Love Drop was still alive.
Yeah,
So I
he's
was
still doing-
excited. That's really good.
Well,
All
if
right, man.
people
So
would like to follow me on Instagram, they can do so at Ask Mystery. That's my Instagram handle. And you can also go to askmystery.com. If you are still awake and into the idea of learning about pickup more, I'm sure you are, head over to askmystery.com and check out the digital store. I've got some new content for you guys to absorb. I think I think your game will improve. It could
I
be
love
just
it.
one piece of knowledge from a book that can be the game changer between getting the girl and not. So it may be worth to have a perusal through the digital store.
Okay, one other thing, guys. All of the links that Beckster and Mystery have are going to be in the show notes for this episode, and then also on the Wednesday interview. If you guys want to go check, they're already in there. You guys can check out all the links that Mystery just said. And then for me, guys, if you want more, if you like this content and you want to be involved with more of it, click that link right there. I just put in the chat, and then the link I'll put it also here on YouTube. That is to join our school server. And you guys will be notified whenever we do crazy stuff and whenever we have a good time. And the other thing I just want to let you guys know is that if you are looking for a high-level social circle game, this is something that's replicatable. This is not something I just did 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This is something I do every week, and I teach other people how to do. And it's very real. And for a lot of people, it's kind of scary because, you know, you thought that the women were one kind of way, and then you find out they're another one. But if this is a lifestyle that you're looking for, make sure you hit me up, and then, you know, hit me up on Instagram or hit me up on Instagram's probably the best place, or you can go to the school server, and I will see you guys whenever you guys do that. Sound good? Beautiful. Anything else, Beckster? Mystery?
Hey, just to say it's been emotional.
It's been emotional.
Yeah. And
Go ahead,
maybe
Beckster.
we'll see some of you in Barcelona. You never know.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We're going to be training a group of men in Barcelona. And if you're not from Barcelona, perfect. Get on a plane, fly to Barcelona, get a Airbnb for 4 days, and come game and train with us live. That is the very best thing you can do, in my opinion, to up your game, is to seek a mentor. So if you're interested in learning more about what I teach or what Beckster teaches, come to Barcelona. You won't regret it.
I love it. All right, guys. We'll definitely see you soon. Please let me know when you guys come to North America. Okay.
We'll do.
Set something
sure.
up.
We'll keep you in the mix.
Our episode comes out on Wednesday. Fresh and Fit told me they're going to try to have you guys on Wednesday. So probably around Wednesday, around 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST. So hopefully if you guys want to check it out, it's interesting to see Myron and Fresh talk to you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to get out of here, let Mystery go to bed because it's 2:30 in the morning where they are. And I will see all of you in 2 weeks. And those of you who already joined Men of